Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Param Karuna Prabhu, for kindly hosting today's session. I'm very happy to be part of this series of talks on Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam, along with yourself and Rameshwar Mahaprabhu Prabhu. Today is the 25th session, and we paused on the second verse, and today we'll resume from where we paused. And I'll also do a slight recap so that we get the proper context of what we had studied in the second verse. And then we can continue from that point onwards. I'm very thankful also to each and every one of the devotees who's present today in the audience, and also to those who will be watching this online later. I'm very thankful to each and every one of you who are kindly present here. Thank you so much for kindly giving your time and your attention. I'm very grateful for the time and attention that you have given. Dear devotees, without any further delay, I'd like to begin today's session, the 25th session of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam. And in the 24 sessions that we have had till now, we've completed the first verse and we have completed part of the second verse. Before we continue, I'd like to once again recite the verse that has been composed for this particular verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam. So on every verse of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam, the attempt is to try and compose a new verse of glorification for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here is the verse of glorification for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that has been composed for the second verse of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam.
Recording in progress.
एकात्मनि व्यवस्थायां त्रिदेहे वाक्चतुष्टये पञ्चतत्त्वे षडक्षेषु सप्तचक्रेषु मे तथा सदा विशतु गौराङ्ग महाप्रभुमुखोद्गतं रम्यं शिक्षाष्टकं येन धन्यः स्याम भूरि भूरिशः. In the one soul, two states, living and dead, three bodies, gross, subtle and causal, four levels of speech, para, pashyanti, madhyama and vaikari, five elements, earth, water, fire, air and ether, six senses, mind and five gross senses, and seven chakras, Mooladhar, Swadhisthān, Manipur, Anahat, Vishuddha, Agya and Sahasrar, belonging to me. May there be complete permeation of the 8 delightful Śikṣāṣṭakam verses emanating from Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's mouth. By such permeation, I shall certainly become greatly and exceedingly fortunate. Dear devotees, it is also our practice to have a new verse glorifying Sri Harinam every time we have a session on Sri Śikṣāṣṭakam. So here is a verse from the Shastra, from the Puranas, glorifying Sri Harinam, and this verse is as follows. Koti janmarjitam papam krashit kleshe cha vartate bhaktanamnascha nirvane tena krishnaha prakirtitah. This verse is very special. It says, Koti janma arjitam papam krashihi kleshe cha vartate. The verbal root crush denotes klesha, miseries, accumulated over millions of lifetimes. Now, dear devotees, if we look into the list of verbal roots given to us by the grammarians, such a verbal root will not be found in the list, Kṛṣī-Kleshe. But the list given to us by the grammarians today is not a complete list. There are many verbal roots which are missing from that list. And therefore, whenever we see such a verbal root which is not found in the existing list, we should definitely understand that this is also a valid verbal root which is belonging to a previous list. So Kṛṣī-Kleshe, the verbal root Krish denotes klesha, miseries accumulated over millions of lifetimes. For the devotees, however, the suffix Rana denotes nirvana, complete cessation of such miseries. Now, this celebrated combination of Krish, miseries, and cessation, is the name Krishna. So, it's a very wonderful derivation of the name of Krishna. And there's a similar verse in Mahabharata and other literature, Krishir hu vachaka shabda, Ranascha nirvriti vachaka, Tayoraikyam param brahma, Krishna ityabhidhiyate. Krish denotes existence and Na denotes happiness. So the combination of eternal existence and eternal happiness is Krishna. That is about the personality of Krishna, and this is about the name of Krishna. The verbal root Krish denotes miseries and Na denotes complete cessation. And combining these two, we get the celebrated name Krishna. So this is from the Brahma Vaivarta Puran, but quoted in the Bhagavan Naam Mahatmya Sangraha, a wonderful collection of verses glorifying Shri Harinam. Now, dear devotees, once again, we are continuing the second verse of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam, which is in front of us. The meter is Vasanta Tilakam. I'll sing it. Please hear carefully. Nānurāgaḥ bahudhārij sarva shaktis tatrārpitāni amita smaranena kālah etādṛśī tava kṛpā bhagavan mamāpi durdaivam īdṛśam ihājani nānurāgaḥ. Karuṇā Prabhu, can you kindly read the Anvay?
Yes, Prabhuji. O Bhagavan, in regard to your unlimited names, immense variety has been manifested by you. Moreover, all of your personal potencies have been eternally invested in these names, and no specific time has been fixed for remembering them. Such is your causeless mercy. Yet my misfortune is such that no genuine attachment was developed by me in these names.
Wonderful. So this is the Anvay, and when we just put it in the form of a paragraph, here it is. O Bhagavan, in regard to your unlimited names, immense variety has been manifested by you. This is the first clause, that immense variety has been manifested by you regarding your names. Dear devotees, the process of Jnana Yoga, where one has to meditate upon the impersonal Brahman, doesn't have this variegatedness. Param Karuṇā Prabhu, very simple question. In Jnana Yoga, where you have to meditate upon the impersonal Brahman, what variegatedness do you get in that meditation?
My understanding is just focusing on the syllable Om or focusing on the Brahman, nothing else.
Those syllables also are ultimately considered to be, to not ultimately, like you say, Brahma. Brahma also, that name cannot fully represent that impersonal entity. Sometimes it is only denoted by Tat, that, Tat Tvamasi, that you are. So, actually speaking, in the conception of Jnana Yoga, there cannot be immense variety. What to speak of immense variety? There cannot even be two, because the absolute truth is one, according to the Jnana Yogis. So this is the first benediction of Bhagavan, that at least in the case of Bhakti Yoga, in the case of Sankirtan, unlimited names, immense variety has been manifested by Bhagavan. Secondly, not only that, Bhagavan has invested all of his personal potencies in these names. It's not that the process of Jnana Yoga has something superior. All the potencies of Bhagavan, including the potency of attaining impersonal knowledge, has also been invested by Bhagavan in these names. So nothing is lacking within these names. And moreover, the third benediction is that no specific time has been fixed for remembering them. So there are 3 total benedictions given by Bhagavan in relation to his names. Such is your causeless mercy. Yet my misfortune is such that no genuine attachment was developed by me in these names. Now, there are 4 clauses of the verse, and these clauses are shown here. And the first clause is Nam Nam Akari Bahuda. Bhagavan, you have manifested unlimited variety in your names. So I'm doing a small recap because we covered the first 3 clauses previously. I'm doing a small recap of this. We had studied the first clause, that Bhagavan has manifested unlimited variety in his names. And we had seen the commentary of Sri Radha Govindanath, where he quotes Shri Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamritam. And Sri Sanatana Goswami specifies very nicely in the Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Sarvesham Bhagavan Namna Samano Mahimāpi Chet Tathapi Swapriyēnāshu Swartha Siddhi Sukham Bhavet. Sarvesham Bhagavan Namnam Samano Mahima. Although all names of Bhagavan are equally great, Saman Mahima, equal greatness, but still, Tathapi, still one achieves the cherished goal in quick and easy manner by uttering that name which is Swapriya, Swapriya and Ashu, which is dear to oneself. So this is the mercy of Bhagavan, that he has given Namani Anantas. He is Ananta Namani. He has unlimited names. But in those unlimited names, you have the freedom to select your Swapriya Nam. And he has not dictated that only one particular name should be the one that you should be chanting. Swapriya Nam means you chant according to your particular delight, your particular inclination. If someone is devoted to Bhagavan Shri Ram, they may utter the name of Bhagavan Shri Ram, Swapriya Nam. If someone is devoted to Shri Krishna, they utter the name of Shri Krishna. Even in Shri Krishna's names, those who are dedicated to Shri Krishna in Shri Vrindavan, they utter names specific to Shri Vrindavan. So Nam Nam Akari Bahudha. This is a summary of what we did when we discussed this particular clause. Also, the second clause was that Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita. Bhagavan has invested all of his potencies in these names. When we discussed this clause, we had studied the statement by Sri Sanatana Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas from 11th chapter of Hari Bhakti Vilas. Dana Vrata Tapas Tirtha Kshetradinam cha Yahastita Shaktayo Deva Mahatam Sarva Papa Harashubha Rajasuyashvamedhanam Pyanyasya Adhyatma Vastunaha Akrishta Harina Sarvaha Sthapitaha Sveshu Namasu. All the sin destroying potencies that are present in the saintly souls, in the devatas, in all acts of charity, in vows, in austerity, in pilgrimage, in sacrifices, and in acquiring knowledge of the transcendental truth. All these potencies have been drawn by Hari and invested in his own names. So Nija Sarva Shaktis, all the potencies present in all other Vedic activities have been taken by Bhagavan, and Harinam has been given the authority that according to its own desire, it can bestow any of this potency upon a person who is chanting it. The third clause, dear devotees, that we had studied is Niyamitaha Smaranena Kalaha. No specific time is fixed for remembering these names. In this also we had seen the verse by Sri Sanatana Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas, 11th chapter. कालोऽस्ति दाने यज्ञे च स्नाने कालोऽस्ति सज्जपे Vishnu Sankirtane Kalo Nasthyatra Prithivitale. On this planet, there are specific times for dan, charity, for yajna, for sacrifices, for bathing, for performing japa of Vedic mantras, etc. However, Vishnu Sankirtane Kalo Nast. There is no time fixed in relation to Shri Vishnu Sankirtana. So, we had discussed these three benedictions that Bhagavan has given. Now, dear devotees, we are continuing. Śrī-Caitanya Mahaprabhu says, etādṛśī tava kṛpā bhagavan. Bhagavan, such is your mercy. Etādṛśī means such. And tava kṛpā is your mercy. Etādṛśī tava kṛpā bhagavan. Bhagavan, such is your mercy. But mamāpi durdaivam. But my misfortune too is such that īdṛśam, ihājani nānurāgaḥ. That no attachment was developed by me in these names. Short and sweet, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first specifies, etādṛśī tava kṛpā. Bhagavan, your mercy is such that you put three major factors in favor of your naam. And what are the three major factors that you put in favor of your naam? That naam akari bahuda. You created so many variety of names. Not created, you manifested. Actually, these names are eternal. So you manifested unlimited variegatedness in your names. Secondly, all energies are eternally invested in all these names. And finally, you did not put any fixed rules for utterance or remembrance of these names. So when Mahaprabhu says, etādṛśī tava kṛpā, such is your mercy. If a question is asked, how is his mercy? So it has already been answered in these 3 points. Such is Bhagavan's mercy. This is the nature of Bhagavan's mercy. But Bhagavan, it seems that there is something greater than your mercy. And what is that? Mama durdaivam, my misfortune. What is your misfortune? Bhagavan, my misfortune is ihājani nānurāgaḥ. I cannot experience any anurag, any genuine attachment for your naam. I cannot experience. This is my durdaivam. This is my misfortune, Bhagavan. So in this way, a comparison has been done of Bhagavan's mercy and the misfortune of the living entity. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he is speaking in a mood of personal humility, he is indicating all the living entities who are affected by this condition of misfortune, of not having any anurag, any genuine attachment for now. So this is the comparison being done in the final clause of the verse. Dear devotees, let's take a very simple example. Let's say there is a very expert chef. And this expert chef gives us 3 wonderful benedictions. Bahudha, he makes variegated food. And secondly, Nija Sarva Shakti, he invests all his expertise in his cooking. And Niyamita Naha, he doesn't put any rules. You can eat as much as you want. And you can eat in whatever order you want. Dear devotees, Param Karuna Prabhu, if a chef gives you these 3 benedictions and cooks whatever, and you can eat according to your choice, whatever you like. So, isn't the chef most merciful?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Etādṛśī tava kṛpā. Bhagavan, your mercy is also somewhat like this. But mamāpi durdaivam, look at my misfortune. Ihājani nānurāgaḥ. I said no. Even after these benedictions were given by Bhagavan in his name, I do not have any attachment to uttering these names. So this is a comparison that can be done in this regard. So Bhagavan has given unlimited variety, just as the expert chef has given unlimited variety in his food. And Just as the chef has invested all his energy, all his expertise in his cooking, Bhagavan has invested all his energies, all his potencies in his Naam. And just as the chef is telling us, you eat as much as you want, whatever you want, in the order that you want, and the capacity that you want. Similarly, Bhagavan is saying, you chant in the order that you want, the name that you want, as much as you want. But my misfortune is that just as a person who's affected by jaundice doesn't find any taste in food, similarly, I do not find any taste, Bhagavan, in the relation you are now. So this is the situation that we can compare ourselves to. And therefore, dear devotees, ihājani na nānurāgaḥ. No anurag, genuine attachment was developed by me in Harinam. Shri Radha Govindanath, while commenting upon this verse, makes a small point. He says anurag is a technical term, because anurag is also one of the stages of prema. And after prema, pranaya, sneha, mana, raga, anurag, these higher stages of prema are discussed in the literature Ujjwal Nilmani of Sri Rupa Goswami. So doubt arises, what is the meaning of anurag? So he answers by saying anurag refers to deep attachment towards the utterance of Naam in the mood of Raganuga Bhakti. There is also a level of prem named anurag, but that level is impossible to be attained in the body of a practitioner, a sadhaka. So anurag here just means deep attachment to uttering Harinam in the mood of Raganuga Bhakti. That's all. And he supports his claim by quoting Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on Ujjwal Nilmani, where Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says that anurag in the context of a practitioner refers to deep attachment to the mood of Raganuga Bhakti. It doesn't refer to that elevated mood of prema, because that prema is attained only after getting a perfected body. It is impossible in the body of a practitioner. Short and sweet, dear devotees, na nānurāgaḥ. No genuine attachment towards Naam was developed by me. And dear devotees, no genuine attachment was developed by me. The question arises, why? Why was genuine attachment not developed in the utterance of Harinam? The simple answer is because I don't have the proper mood in uttering Harinam, since my mind is riddled with many misconceptions. And if we ultimately dig down into the misconceptions, we will see that these misconceptions are rooted in aparadhas. And these misconceptions and aparadhas are my durdaivam, my misfortune. If I would not have those misconceptions, I would utter Harinam with the most proper attitude, without misconceptions and without aparadhas. Because misconceptions are a direct result of aparadhas. The misconceptions that we have today are rooted in one or the other aparadhas. If we get rid of aparadhas, then the misconceptions are certainly going to go away. Let's take one misconception today, dear devotees, because there are 10 Naam aparadhas. Let us take one misconception today. And this is a very common misconception that many individuals have. And they ask a very simple question. And Param Karuṇā Prabhu, I'm going to ask you this very simple question. Prabhuji, why does Harinam not seem to do anything to improve the situation of the world or of my personal life? Please tell me.
Because my understanding is that is not the purpose of chanting Harinam, to improve material situation. It is to develop the spiritual platform or bhava and prema in our life.
Prabhu, I have seen so many statements in Shastra. You chant Harinam and all your miseries will go. And I'll tell you, there was one devotee who used to often message me and say, that I am tired of, he used to say, my spouse is not at all cooperative with me. We fight every day. I have been chanting Harinam for so many years now, more than a decade. Why does it not work for me? It has done nothing for me. It has not improved anything within my personal life.
So, Prabhuji, my understanding, again, all from you, is that Harinam definitely has the power to do it. Harinam is a person and he has his own sweet will. So, for somebody, he may have done it immediately or in a very short time. For me, it may take a longer time. There is no formula. Harinam cannot be bound in a fixed formula for everyone. And another is that we may not have chanted, as you said, in the proper mood, with the proper attitude, with that sense of urgency and that deep calling, the crying. And so we have not received that experience of removal of klesha or misery from our life.
Prabhu, there are so many wars being fought on the surface of the planet. Why isn't Harinam doing anything to resolve any of these conflicts?
There is a sanchit karma, Prabhuji. There is accumulated past karma for them. Harinam has definitely the power to remove all the karma by even one utterance. It can do it, but it is up to his sweet will as to whether he actually does it for a given individual. It's very individual to every person.
So the standard reply would be, what improvements are you expecting, basically? And the doubter may say, peace and happiness in the world. Or if not in the world, at least in my personal life, since I am directly chanting. The world may not be chanting, but I am chanting daily. And Shastra promised me happiness in my life by chanting Harinam. And Prabhu, Shastra promises something, so it must happen. And when it doesn't happen, it puts you in a state of doubt regarding Harinam, whether all those sweet promises that were made in Shastra were true or false. And therefore, it is very important to understand the entire conception of Shri Harinam in some depth at this point of time. Dear devotees, let's try to understand from a very fresh perspective. In the Vedas, there are 3 types of karma mentioned. All Vedic karma is categorized into 3 main types. And please hear carefully, dear devotees. These 3 types of karma are mentioned by many acharyas, including Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. I am quoting his statement from his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Nitya Naimittika Kamyani Karmani. 3 types of karma in the Vedas. First is Nitya Karma. Nitya Karma, dear devotees, please remember these technical terms. Once we remember these technical terms, it becomes easy for us to navigate through the concepts. Nitya Karma, daily compulsory Vedic activities. For example, Snan, bathing, Sandhya, chanting Gayatri, etc. These are known as Nitya Karma. You must perform them. We must perform them daily. We must perform them compulsorily. These are called Nitya Karma. Dear devotees, the second type of karma is known as Naimittika. The term Nimitta means occasion, when the occasion arises. So that karma is called Naimittika Karma, occasional Vedic activities. Example, Vivaha, marriage. Param Prabhu, is marriage a daily compulsory activity or an occasional Vedic activity?
Occasional.
Occasional. Antyeshti, cremation, is similarly occasional. When the occasion arises, you perform these Vedic activities at that occasion. So this is the second type of Vedic activity, Naimittika Karma. And the third type of Vedic activity is Kamya Karma, Vedic acts done to fulfill a worldly desire. For example, Putra Kama Ishti. Ishti means Vedic sacrifice. Putra Kam means desire for a son. Maharaj Dashrath, he had no sons, so he performed Putra Kameshti sacrifice. It is mentioned in the Ramayana. He performed Putra Kameshti and he begot 4 sons. Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna. Putra Kameshti. Similarly, there is Varsheshti. Varsheshti means fire sacrifice for ensuring rainfall. So this is Kamya Karma, Vedic acts done to fulfill a worldly desire. This is in Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 29, 34. Dear devotees, in these 3 types of karma, Nitya, Naimittika, Kamya, a question will arise, Param Karuna Prabhu. Which category does uttering Harinam fall? First and foremost, is uttering Harinam Vedic karma or not? Please tell me.
It's not.
So it is non-Vedic. Then it should result in negative result. Because Vedas give dharma, and whatever is outside of Vedas, it has the tendency to give adharma. So Prabhu, if uttering Harinam is non-Vedic, then it must sometimes lead to adharma, isn't it?
No, Prabhuji.
So then which category does uttering Harinam fall?
My understanding is it's beyond these 3 categories.
It's beyond these 3 categories. So it doesn't, bhakti is not within the Vedas.
It is.
So it must be activities of bhakti must belong to one of, because there are only 3 types of activities in the Vedas. Nitya, Naimittika, Kamya. And the 4th type, which some people add, is Nishiddha, forbidden. But forbidden is a negative activity. These are the positive activities. So I have included only the positive activities. Nitya, Naimittika, Kamya Karma. If bhakti is mentioned in the Vedas, acts of bhakti must be Vedic acts. So which of these types is bhakti?
I cannot say for sure, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Now, at this point of time, a very interesting situation arises. Because Vedic karma is of 3 types. And if we say that bhakti is not Vedic karma, then we are removing bhakti altogether from the Vedas, which certainly we don't desire to do. So, bhakti is Vedic, but bhakti is also transcendental to Vedic karma. Isn't that what you wanted to say, Parama? Right?
Yes, Prabhuji. And here specifically with the definition that you have given to fulfill worldly desire,
yeah,
bhakti is really ruled out from that angle.
Oh, really, Prabhu? So bhakti is not Vedic? Bhakti is not Kamya karma?
No, it's not done to fulfill a worldly desire. That's the point.
Oh, so then why were you saying some time ago that why doesn't Harinam do anything to improve my worldly situation?
Yeah, that was the rhetorical question you asked.
Oh. The doubt was, why doesn't Harinam do anything to improve my worldly situation? And then later you say bhakti is not kamya karma. Wonderful. Then why should bhakti give the results of kamya karma? If you want to improve your personal life, if you want to improve the worldly status of your life, there are so many prescriptions given in the Vedas. Kamya karma. You can do that. All right, let's come back to the point. Amongst these 3 types of karma, which is bhakti? And Harinam is also one type of bhakti. So which one of this is Harinam and bhakti? Dear devotees, first and foremost, we have to understand the first type of karma, which is Nitya karma, because this karma is the most important type of Vedic karma, the most regularly performed Vedic karma. This is the definition of Nitya karma given by the great authorities. Nityani akarane pratyavaya sadhana. Nitya karmas are those compulsory daily Vedic activities that lead to a negative result if not carried out. Prabhu, this is the definition of Nitya Karma. Now, if you see carefully, the implication is that Nitya Karma does not generate any specific worldly result, but not performing Nitya Karma leads to a negative worldly result. For example, Snan, bathing, daily bath is a Nitya Karma. Now, Prabhu, when you perform a daily bath, every day you take a bath. Do you get any worldly results, any divine results by taking a bath, or is just a daily routine? What is it?
Yes, Prabhu, the daily routine to maintain the status quo, to prevent it from falling down.
And yeah. So Nitya Karma is that which does not give any positive worldly result. But not performing it leads to a negative result. That is what Nitya Karma is. So Nitya Karma such as taking a bath, worshipping the various deities, the devatas in the Vedas, or chanting your Gayatri, etc. This is Nitya Karma. Now, Shri Rupa Goswami makes a very important statement in Bhakti Rasamrita. And this verse clarifies a lot. Smartavyah satatam Vishnur vismartavyo na jatuchit sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayoreva kinkara. Smartavyah satatam Vishnu. Vishnu should always be remembered favorably. Vishnu or Krishna should always be remembered favorably. And vismartavyo na jatuchit should never be forgotten at any point of time. All other rules and regulations are servants of these two essential principles. Prabhu, always be remembered, never be forgotten. Does it look like Nitya Karma, daily regular duty, or Naimittika Karma, occasional Vedic duty? What does it sound like?
Sounds like daily.
It sounds like Nitya Karma. So Shri Rupa Goswami, after this verse, immediately, in the immediate next verse of Bhakti Rasamrita, Shri Rupa Goswami says, Bhakti is Nitya Karma. Ityasau syad vidhir nityah sarva varnashramadishu nityadvepyasya nirnitam ekādṛśyādivat phalam. Iti asau syad vidhir nitya. Prabhu, you can see nitya and vidhi. This injunction of always remembering Krishna and always performing acts of bhakti is nitya vidhi, nitya karma, compulsory daily duty. For whom? Because the Vedas are meant for the twice born, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. And this is bhakti is nitya karma for whom? He says sarva varna ashrama. Sarva varna ashrama. Also for the Shudras. Adishu. Adishu means also those who are outside of varnashram. So this is nitya karma. Bhakti is nitya karma for all those who are within varnashram, including the Shudras and all those who are outside of varnashram. But Param Karuṇā Prabhu, nitya karma has one characteristic. It does not generate something. What does it not generate? In the previous slide, we had shown performing nitya karma does not generate any specific positive result.
Results.
Yeah, but not performing nitya karma definitely generates
Negative.
Yes. So Shri Rupa Goswami says, Nityatvepi, although it is nitya karma, eternal duty, asya nirnitam phalam. Shastra speaks of a positive worldly result for executing bhakti. Many places in Shastra you will see that if you perform bhakti, you will be benefited. And Shri Rupa Goswami says, just like Shastra speaks of positive worldly results for executing Ekadashi, etc. Although Ekadashi is also nitya karma. Haven't we heard so many benefits of performing Ekadashi? Param Karuṇā Prabhu, you might have heard so many statements of benefit for performing Ekadashi. Isn't Ekadashi nitya karma to be performed every fortnight?
Yes, Prabhuji. Now I can say yes.
Yes, Ekadashi is to be performed every fortnight. It is nitya karma for us. If it is nitya karma, then it should not generate something. What should it not generate?
Positive results.
Positive worldly results. But positive worldly results are given in for Ekadashis. For example, I will give an example. You perform this Ekadashi and you get the same result as performing an Ashwamedh Yajna. Now, performing Ashwamedh Yajna, the result is a worldly result, and that is given for Ekadashi. But Ekadashi is Nitya Karma. Similarly, Bhakti is also Nitya Karma. Ideally, it should not generate any worldly result. But Shastra sometimes gives worldly result for Bhakti. Sri Rupa Goswami says, just as Shastra gives worldly result for Ekadashi. What is the secret behind this? Why is Shastra promising worldly results for Bhakti, worldly results for Ekadashi, when they are Nitya Karma? So this is very important to understand. So we will dive deeper into this. For example, Sri Rupa Goswami gives an example of how Bhagavan promises a positive worldly result for Bhakti. In the 11th canto, Bhagavan says, Evam kriya yoga pathai puman vaidika tantrikai archanubhayatah siddhim matto vindatya bhipsitam. By worshipping me through the various methods prescribed in the Vedas and Tantras, one will gain from me one's desired goals in both this life and the next life. Now, Bhagavan is promising positive results also in this life, worldly goals. And Bhagavan is promising positive results in the next life, spiritual goals. Why is Bhagavan promising a worldly result for a Nitya karma such as Bhakti? Why is Bhagavan promising this? So, if we look into Shastra, Shastra promises many positive results for Nitya karma also. For Snan also, very simple things such as Snan. Param Karna Prabhu, what positive results have you seen after taking a bath?
Other than maintaining status quo of keeping the body clean, the positive results are just maintaining the status quo, I would say.
Just to keep your body fresh and clean. But the Hari Bhakti Vilas says, Snane manah prasada syat deva abhimukha sada saubhagyam Shri Sukham Pushti Punyam Vidya Yashodhriti. Prabhu, please read the translation.
On bathing, one's mind becomes joyous. The devatas become favorably disposed at all times. One attains good fortune, prosperity, happiness, nourishment, piety, knowledge, fame, and great fortitude.
My goodness, all of this simply by taking a what?
Bath.
By Snan. How many of these have you experienced, Param Karna Prabhu?
Maybe becoming joyous a little bit, but beyond that, not much.
Why does Shastra promise all these material results for Nitya Karma?
Yeah. I can guess, Prabhuji, but I won't say it right now.
Shastra is promising all these, all these activities. Also, Bhakti is also Nitya Karma, and Bhagavan promises so many things. Harinam is Nitya Karma, and so many positive results for Harinam. You chant Harinam, your diseases will go away. You chant Harinam, you will attain the highest abode in this material world. You chant Harinam, you can gain the kingdom of the entire earth. You chant Harinam, and all your miseries will be driven away. And it sounds like the Nitya Karma, the results for, for Snan. You take a Snan and the Devatas become favorable to you. You take a Snan and good fortune, prosperity, nourishment, knowledge, fame, and great fortitude comes to you. Then why does Shastra promise all these results? So, dear devotees, there is a very wonderful discussion about this done by the Acharya Shri Madhusudan Saraswati in his commentary to Bhagavad Gita. Shri Madhusudan Saraswati is very respectable Acharya. His commentary is also cited by Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his own commentary to the Bhagavad Gita. Although Shri Madhusudan Saraswati belongs to the Advaita impersonal school, but he also has a very soft side for bhakti, and many of his comments often have a deep devotional impression. For this reason, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur often quotes from his Bhagavad Gita commentary. In one place in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 18, verse number 9, Shri Madhusudan Saraswati says that when a mango tree is planted, the main result for which the mango tree is planted is the mango fruit. That is why a mango tree is planted. Param Karuna Prabhu, if you plant a mango tree, what will be the main intention with which you plant the mango tree?
To eat mangoes.
To eat mangoes. But besides that, there are also smaller incidental results. Incidental results are known as anushangik phala. Anushangik phala is shade, fragrance of flowers, etc. Now, they are known as incidental results, Prabhu, because you cannot expect them to happen always at all the time. In fall season, the leaves may fall down. That is why it's called fall. Everything falls. The leaves fall down. You may not get shade. You may not get fragrance of flowers. But the purpose for which you planted the tree, the mangoes, that purpose will certainly be fulfilled. Similarly, he says, when Nitya karmas are performed, the main result is purification of oneself. All other results promised in Shastra are secondary, incidental results. So, Prabhu, for Snan, the main result is purification of the self. Do you get this result after performing Snan? Please tell me.
I don't. Purification as an internal purification, I can't say, but external purification, sure.
But if you perform Snan according to the rules given in Hari Bhakti Vilas, chanting Hari Naam, etc., while performing Snan, then is purification of the self ensured while performing Snan?
Yes, Prabhuji.
100%. All other results that the Devtas become favorable to you, you get a heavenly abode, etc., are secondly incidental results, which means sometimes they may come, in some rare cases they may not come, but they are not the main results. That is what he's trying to say. Now, Prabhu, you note carefully, purification of the self is not a material result. The main result is not a material result. Hence, Shastra says that Nitya karmas give no worldly results. No worldly results. The worldly results are all secondary, incidental results. The primary result is not a worldly result. The primary result is a transcendental result, which is purification of the self. All the Vedic activities, they have one primary result. And what is that primary result, Prabhu?
Purification of the self.
Yes. And that's what Krishna says in the Gita. By performing karma according to one's prescribed duties, gradually one becomes detached. And then from the platform of karma, one goes to karma yoga. From karma yoga, one goes to jnana yoga. So the main result is purification of the self. All the other results that are promised are secondary, incidental. They may take place, they may not take place. Now, once again, Sri Rupa Goswami is saying, I am repeating that verse. So bhakti is nitya karma. So it is nitya karma. Should bhakti generate any material result?
No.
No. But still, Shastra will specify many material results of bhakti. Just as Shastra specifies many material results for executing etādṛśī. Rupa Goswami is saying. Now, example of result of Ekadashi. This is from the Padma Puran, Ekadashi Mahatmya, glories of Ekadashi. Patana Shravana Chaiva Karuna Cha Vishampate Rajasuyasya Yagyasya Phalam Apnoti Manavah. Patana Shravana Chaiva. Krishna is saying to Maharaj Yudhishthir, O King Yudhishthir, Vishampate, O King of the earth, by reciting, listening to and observing the vow of Saphala Ekadashi, the first Ekadashi, a human attains the result of conducting a Rajasuya sacrifice. Param Karuna Prabhu, which result is being promised here? Worldly or transcendental?
Worldly.
Worldly result. But is Ekadashi Kamya Karma or Nitya Karma?
Nitya.
how can a worldly result be promised for a nitya karma? Because a nitya karma does not give a worldly result. So is this the primary result or the secondary incidental?
Secondary incidental.
Wonderful. So now we understood that all these results that are promised are anushangik phalam, secondary incidental results. And the main result of all acts of bhakti is given by Shri Rupa Goswami himself. Here is a very wonderful verse which resolves the entire puzzle. Kesham chit kvachid anganam yat kshudram shruyate phalam bahir mukha pravrityaitat kintu mukhyam phalam ratihi. Kesham chit kvachid anganam yat kshudram shruyate phalam. Whatever minor secondary results are seen in Shastra about certain limbs of bhakti, such as etādṛśī. Shri Rupa Goswami says kshudram phalam. These are minor secondary results. Bahirmukha pravritya etat. These results are promised to make non-devotees favorable towards bhakti. Doesn't mean that these results don't come about. It's not that they are false. They may happen, they may not happen. But the purpose is, the main purpose of promising these results, the main purpose is to make non-devotees favorable towards bhakti. However, kintu, he says, mukhyam phalam rati, the main result of all these limbs of bhakti is rati, or love of Krishna. So the secondary results that are promised for Ekadashi, you will become a king in your next life, you will get the kingdom of heaven, you will get the result of performing an Ashwamedh, Rajasuya sacrifice. The main reason why these are promised is so that non-devotees who have no inclination towards the path of bhakti become favorable towards bhakti. It's not that, these results are false. They may come, they may not come. But the mukhyam phalam, the main result of nitya karma, Prabhu, the main result of nitya karma is material or transcendental?
Transcendental.
Ratihi, that is love of Krishna. Just as the main result of ordinary Vedic karma is purification of the heart, similarly, the main result of bhakti Vedic karma is attainment of love of Bhagavan. So that is the result that we should be expecting from Harinam. And due to misplaced expectations from Harinam, we are expecting so many other things. Now, dear devotees, the secondary results are exactly like a bait. Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan says, Padish Amish Arpan Nyay. In order to catch a fish, Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan has explained in his commentary to Tattva Sandarbha. In order to catch a fish, you have to attach something to the hook. What do you attach to a hook, Paramkarna Prabhu, in order to catch a fish?
A bait, a worm or something.
Yeah, a worm. A worm is called Amish, impure. So in order to catch a fish, because a fish is also impure, you have to attach something impure to the hook. The bait should also be impure. If you attach something very pure, halwa, jalebi, puri, the fish will not be attracted. You have to put something impure. And only by attaching something impure, the fish is attracted. This is called Badish Amish Arpan Nyay. Similarly, in the Vedas, there are statements which sometimes may come true, sometimes may not come true. But they are attached to the Vedic activities. Perform this and you will get this. Perform that and you will get that. They act as bait so that people who have impure motivations, they get attached to these statements and they get attracted towards the main purpose of the Vedas. And what is the main purpose of the Vedas? Krishna says in the 11th canto, Karma mokshaya karmani vidhate hyagadam yatha. Vedic injunctions indirectly lead, not directly, because if they speak directly, nobody will follow. Indirectly lead one to the path of ultimate liberation. by first prescribing fruitive religious activities, just as a father promises his child candy so that the child will take his medicine. So similarly, Vedic injunctions promise you many material results, but the ultimate result of Nitya Karma is not material. The ultimate result of Nitya Karma is purification of heart. Similarly, many acts of bhakti such as Ekadashi, chanting Harinam may promise you material results. But Param Karuna Prabhu, is that the main result of performing those acts?
No.
Then what is the main result of performing all acts of bhakti?
Rati.
Rati. Wonderful. Attachment, genuine attraction, attachment towards Shri. And all these other statements, Rupa Goswami has said, Bahirmukha pravritya etat. They are there so that non-devotees become favorable towards bhakti. This is the same logic being used. Badi Shamish Arpanyay. Non-devotees are being made favorable by offering a bait. But Mukhyam Phalam Ratihi. The main result is Rati. Because that is the result for which bhakti was, that is the result for which bhakti exists. That is the reason why bhakti exists. Bhakti doesn't exist to give the secondary results. Bhakti exists to give the main result. That is Rati, love of Krishna. So, dear devotees, once again, if the question is asked, why does Harinam not seem to do anything to improve the situation of the world or of my personal life? The answer is very simple. Harinam is Nitya Karma of Bhakti Shastra. Bhakti Shastra are also Vedic Shastras. They are not non-Vedic. They are Vedic Shastras. And Bhakti is Nitya Karma in that section of the Vedas. By expecting worldly results from Bhakti, we are turning Bhakti from Nitya Karma into another type of Karma, Kamya Karma. Activities performed with material desires. Harinam may give incidental material results. It may not give. We cannot expect a Nitya Karma to always give the results of Kamya Karma. It's like saying, I will only take a bath if I see the Devatas in front of me. Why did the Devatas not come in front of me? Now I will not take a bath. Does that seem justified, Param Karuna Prabhu?
No.
Because darshan of the Devatas after taking a bath is a secondary incidental result which may happen in some rare cases. But to take that as the main result and to start expecting that, and then to expect that, if the Devatas do not come, then I will stop taking a bath. Then we will stop performing that Nitya Karma. And by not performing that Nitya Karma, we will get a negative reaction. Moreover, by expecting Harinam to fulfill worldly expectations, Param Karuna Prabhu, aren't we equating Harinam with those ritualistic Vedic activities which give worldly result?
Yes.
And it is one of the 10 namaprats, isn't it? Dharma vrata tyaga hutadi sarva shubha kriya samyam. That to consider the utterance of Bhagavan's name as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities mentioned in the Vedas, which will give you positive material results. By expecting Harinam to give a worldly result, we are expecting Harinam to give the same result as the auspicious activities mentioned in the Vedas. By this, we are equating Harinam to auspicious ritualistic activities mentioned in the Vedas. And that is directly something, Prabhu. What is that, Prabhu? Directly a Nam Aparad. That is directly a Nam Aparad. The main result of uttering Harinam is unconditional, non-transactional prema. Sometimes you may attain incidental results, sometimes you may not attain. But that is the free will of Harinam. But if somebody is going with the mindset that I started chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, why did I not get this particular material result? Why is my spouse not favorable towards me? Why is my financial situation not improving? You have all of these misplaced expectations towards Harinam because this was not the Mukhya Phala. This is not the main result which Harinam is going to give you. The main result of Nitya Karma is non-material and Harinam is Nitya Karma. Bhakti is Nitya Karma. Smartavyaha Satatam Vishnu. Always remember Krishna. Nitya Karma. It is not kamya karma. To expect results of kamya karma from a nitya karma like bhakti is thoroughly unjustified. And we should not equate bhakti with those kamya karmas, those karmas which give material results, fruitive results. This is the underlying aparadh. As I said, Prabhu, if we look deeply into the sources of many of these doubts and misconceptions, we will ultimately end up with an aparadh. And this is what the aparadh was. Having understood this aparadh, we should not now have a very clear expectation from Shri Harinam that from Shri Harinam I will only expect one thing, that is Shri Krishna Prema. I will not even expect that Harinam should destroy my prarabdha karma, my sanchit karma, or any other type of karma. Because all those things, the destruction of all of that karma is dependent purely on the will of Harinam. But I can confidently expect one thing from Harinam, that Harinam, please give me Krishna Prem. This is a valid, just expectation from Shri Harinam. To expect anything else from Harinam is to expect secondary results. And secondary results are incidental. Sometimes they may happen, they may not happen. But durdaivam, my misfortune is such that I have all these misconceptions. I am considering the secondary results as primary. By this, I am committing one of the 10 namaparats. I am considering Hare Krishna Mahamantra as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities of the Vedas, meant to give me auspicious results in this world. Durdaivam, look at my misfortune. Ihājani nānurāgaḥ. I could not develop genuine attachment. Instead, I treated Harinam like a currency in order to attain my material results. Therefore, I could not attain anurag, deep attachment towards Shri Harinam. So this is a small part of the explanation of this particular sentence. I'll pause my speech here. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvam saha purayantu tad. Yadatra saushtavam kinchit tad gurorevam. Yadatra skalitam kinchit. It's possible I might have made a mistake while speaking something. If that is the case, vidvam saha, your learned devotees, purayantu tad. Please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushtavam kinchit. If there's anything nice in what I said, please know tad guroreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, Parama Prabhu, once again. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such a wonderful explanation of this deep concept, Mukhya Phalam Ratihi. And thank you for restarting the series, Prabhuji. I know it's so much work on your part, but I can safely say on behalf of everyone that how much we relish this constant guidance and education from you. Thank you. It's invaluable.
I'm sorry, some of these concepts are slightly technical. If devotees feel that they're not able to understand these concepts in a single go, they should always revisit the talks. Because sometimes these concepts are not easily understood. Nitya karma, naimittik karma, kamya karma. What is nitya karma? Why does it not generate any worldly result? What should be expected from it? What type of karma is bhakti? Is it nitya, naimittika, or kamya? If bhakti is nitya karma, what result should be expected from it? And why are we expecting the results of kamya karma from a nitya karma such as bhakti? So all this is a summary of what was done today. But I'm very thankful that all of you gave your time so kindly. Thank you, Karuṇā Prabhu, for kindly hosting the talk.
Thank you. We'll transition to Q&A. I think everybody is very familiar with the guidelines and the rules that we have for Q&A. One question at a time. Come back for second questions by raising your hands again. We'll go in the sequence in which the hands were raised. Keep the questions free of names, institution free names, person free, etc. And this whole discussion and series is not affiliated with any specific institution or a person. So it's very informal. So let's try to maintain that kind of a mood of this entire series.
Wonderful.
Anything else, Prabhuji?
That's it. I think these are most of the points that I wanted to discuss in the Q&A, and we can begin, Prabhu, now.
Yeah. Vamshidhari Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my Dandot Pranam and all other Vaishnavas and Param Karuṇā Prabhuji. Thank you so much for starting once again. And as Param Karuṇā Prabhu kindly summarized, that we look forward to it every week now to nourish ourselves and continue on the path of our Nitya Karma Bhakti. So Prabhuji, my question today is, so you nicely explained that whatever statement given in Shastra for Nitya Karma is to attract Bahirmukha, like non-devotee, to go on the path of Bhakti. But previously you also explained that for the Naam, there is no such thing, because otherwise it will lead to Arthvat. So then whatever is mentioned about Naam is correct, like it's not exaggeration or something like that. So when we hear so many statements about chanting the fall of chanting the holy name in Shastras and Bhagavatam and everywhere, so is that not for the same reason, like to attract the Bahirmukha to start chanting the name? Or as you explained previously, that it is just a starting on that fall. It's not that it's an immediate fall, but the person has started his journey to achieve that fall even by uttering the one name of Lord. So just want to just reconcile that thing, because when we do preaching or whenever somebody new come across, some of those statements are also used, which looks like giving you immediate benefit, which may lead to this kind of misconception as you just explained today.
Yeah. So initially, when a person is new, a person does not have the most purest of motivations.
Yeah.
When a person doesn't have the purest of motivations, it is badish amish arpan. You have to offer worm to the fish. You cannot offer something pure to the fish. So somebody may come and say, well, you should chant. I will go to somebody and say, you should chant Hare Krishna. Why? Now you can't say because you will get rati, pure love of Bhagavan. Well, I'm not looking for rati right now. I have 1,000 problems in my life. I am looking for resolution of these problems. So then you tell them, oh, well, Harinam can also free you from all those negative feelings in your life. Oh, acha, then I can definitely try to chant. So then you offered them a worm on the hook, because it's not the purest of motivations to chant. So now that you offered them a worm on the hook, the question is, did you speak a falsity, or can Harinam give this result actually?
It can.
It can.
Yeah.
But let's say after 1 year or something, he says, I have become more miserable. After chanting 1 year, I have become more miserable. Now, you promised me that, by chanting Hare Krishna, my miseries will go away. But they don't seem to go away for me. And then he may say, I am no longer chanting Hare Krishna. I give up. And he goes away from the process.
Right.
But for that 1 year that he chanted Hare Krishna, he moved ahead on the path of Rati. He moved ahead on the path of Rati. And that example Krishna gave in the 11th canto. To give a medicine to the child, you can't tell the child, oh, here is that bitter medicine which will cure you. The child, oh, I'll never take that medicine. Right? Then you cover it with some sugar candy, and then you give the medicine. And even after that, sometimes a child consumes the medicine half and throws it out. But at least half the medicine is consumed in the process. So this is how these statements work. So it's not that the sugar candy doesn't exist. It exists. But the main effect is going to be bitter, because that is the cure.
Right.
So that cure is needed. If that cure is not there, and if only the sweet portion is there, that is outright cheating.
Right.
And that is not the purpose of the Mahamantra. The purpose of Mahamantra is to give a bitter dose so that we can be cured. But a sweet coating is added on top of it so that people, those who are not inclined to bitter things, they will also be inclined to consume it. That's all. So it's not arthavad that there is a sweet layer on top of it. There is actually some sweet result promised, but that is not the main result. And so this is why sometimes such statements are there, and such statements are there in Shastra. Since they are in Shastra, devotees also repeat those statements.
Right.
And since devotees repeat those statements, people get these hopes. And these hopes are not false hopes, but these hopes are also, you can't say that in every case these hopes will turn out to be true. Right? So this is the exact situation here. But at least one thing will turn out to be true, that they will move positively in the direction of rati, in the direction of attachment towards Krishna. And maybe after 1 year, he gives up. And he never takes it up again in his life. Next life, he already has the samskar. And he knows that some samskar is there from previous life, that such activities lead to removal of misery. Next life, he will take it up, but he'll take it up with more seriousness and try to look deeper into it. And then from there, progress is there. Aneka janma janita punya rashi phalam mahat. That is how the avalanche grows in size, and finally it results in prema. All right, so that is how.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So just to summarize, like, it's very beautifully, like, any nitya karma is not going, like, always resulting the mukhya phalam, step by step towards that. And that is the thing, whether we know it, whether we realize it, whether we experience it, but we are getting towards that with each and every name, with each and every karma, every day we are doing, we are getting towards it. It's just a matter of time when we actually experience and realize it. So that's what I'm taking from it. So thank you so much, Prabhu.
So just as Vedic nitya karma, daily take a bath, daily utter Gayatri, daily worship the devatas. A person continues to take daily bath for many years, decades, continues to worship the devatas. After decades of doing that, a person definitely is much more clearer in his consciousness as compared to a person who does not do all of this. So that is the main result of the nitya karma. So bhakti, according to Sri Rupa Goswami, is nitya vidhi. It is nitya karma. So, and Vedic nitya karma is only for the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. But bhakti nitya karma is also for everybody, including those who are not within varnashram. So that is the key difference between the nitya karmas of bhakti and the nitya karmas of the Vedas. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We'll go to Tanvi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. My pranams. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. So I had this question that, as you mentioned, that Vedas give us the secondary instructions, which are like given a candy to the child, and it is in the disguise.
Secondary result, not instructions.
Secondary result, right? So okay. So get my understanding right, please. I had heard that the Shruti Shastras are termed as the Pita Samhita Upadesh, that is, they give direct instructions, and the Puranas are considered as Kanta Samhita Upadesh. But right now, please get my understanding right. But right now, if we see that here also, like they are given as if they are disguised in some, like, sweetness, as you said. So how should we understand this? I have some of this confusion. Like, Vedas didn't directly propagate bhakti, but they propagate everything. But Puranas, if we see, they directly instruct about the ultimate goal. So how should we understand this?
No, actually, your question is Vedas are Pita Samhita Upadesh and Puranas are Kanta Samhita Upadesh?
That is what has come in my hearing.
Okay, so the actual statement is Veda is Prabhu Sammita Upadesh. Purana is Mitra Sammita Upadesh, and Kavya, poetry, is Kanta Sammita Upadesh. Now, what is the meaning? The question is slightly technical, so for those who will not understand, I am giving the translation of this. This comes from Hari Lilamritam of the great Vaishnav Vopadev from Maharashtra. He's a very great Vaishnav, Shri Vopadev, and he wrote a commentary, Hari Lilamritam, on Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that, he has mentioned a very wonderful verse that Vedaha Puranam Kavyam cha Prabhur Mitram Priyeva cha. I am sharing the screen so that we can all have a look at this particular statement by Shri Vopadev. Here it is. This is Hari Lilamritam of Shri Vopadev, the 9th verse from the beginning. Vedaha Puranam Kavyam cha. The Vedas, the Puranas, and the poetry. They instruct one like Prabhu. Veda instructs like a master. Puran instructs like a mitra, like a friend. And Kavya, poetry, instructs like a Priya, like a beloved lady. Bodhayanti iti. These three instruct like this. But Trivad Bhagavata Puna. Bhagavatam instructs like all three. So this is what is the actual statement. So the Vedas are Prabhu Sammita Upadesh. Vedas instruct like a master. Like Swarga Kamo Yajeta, if you want heaven, perform Yajna. Like a master, the Vedas will say. The Puranas will instruct like a friend. Like, hey, if you do like this, you should not do like this. A person who is interested in the ultimate goal of life should never behave like this. So instruct like a friend. And Kavya will instruct like a beloved lady. Kavya will say, if you really desire your benefit, don't look upon that boy on the banks of the Yamuna. Because once you look upon that boy on the banks of the Yamuna, you'll forget everything in this world. So we speak, Kavya will speak a romantic language. But Trivad Bhagavatam Punaha. Bhagavatam will speak like all three. And this is the speciality of Srimad Bhagavatam. So once again, what was the query about?
Yes, actually, it was my misunderstanding that the Vedas were telling the Vedas are the Prabhu Samhita, and so I had this misunderstanding that how can Vedas also come in they are giving us the results which are disguise of a candy. That was my
question. Vedas sometimes a master also, in order to get things done from his servants, a master gives some incentive. That is part of how a master deals with the servants. Sometimes Vedas give incentives. Srila Sridhar Swami, in his commentary to Bhagavad Gita, he quotes a statement which is Arthavad, which is an example of a statement which gives a result, which promises a result so that people can execute Vedic sacrifices. Srila Sridhar Swami gives an example of this. I'll try to pull it out. It is either in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th chapter, one of the chapters of Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Apama Somam Amrita Abhuma. He quotes that particular section of the Vedas. That Apama Somam, the Vedas promise, we drank Soma juice and Amrita Abhuma, and we became completely immortal. Now, by drinking Soma juice, does somebody become immortal? That is the question. Answer is no. Then why do Vedas have such a statement? So that people can perform Soma Yajna, fire sacrifice. Apam Somam Amrita Abhuma. By drinking Soma juice, we became completely immortal. So statements like this are there so that the Vedas can make people inclined towards fire sacrifices. And after people become inclined to fire sacrifices, they perform fire sacrifices. And after that, their heart is cleansed, and then they will move to the path of Gyan. Because Vedanta the end of the Vedas is in Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga ultimately. So that is the purpose. All right.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Kapil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. My pranams to all the devotees present on the call. Prabhu, so I have a quick question. So I read one verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which says that if one chants the holy name of Krishna once, then all the sinful reactions are gone. Then why do we go through purification and why don't we attain Krishna Prema at once?
It's a very important question. By uttering one name of Krishna, all sinful reactions are gone. So in that very statement, we uttered one name of Krishna. Right now, I uttered another name of Krishna. Now I uttered the third name, isn't it? Now I
Yes.
chanted four, which means that all my sinful reactions should go away. But I'm pretty sure I'll experience some distress in life also after this. So what happened? Why did it not work? So the answer to this is given by Sri Jiva Goswami in the Sandarbhas. The Sandarbhas, Sri Jiva Goswami quotes a very wonderful verse about Sakriducharitam yena Harirityaksara dvayam Baddha parikarastena mokshaya gamanam prati. I will show you this verse.
Yes.
This is quoted by Sri Jiva Goswami in his Krama Sandarbha commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto. I will pull out this particular verse from the Krama Sandarbha commentary on the 6th canto. Yeah. I will share this verse. Here, this is 6th canto, 6 to 7. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quote, Srila Sridhar Swami, both of them quote. Sakrit Ucharitam, this should be Ucharitam. Sakrit Ucharitam yena harir iti aksharadvayam Baddha parikarastena mokshaya gamanam prati. Sakrit Ucharitam yena, one who has chanted Sakrit even once, if you have chanted. Ha re iti aksharadvayam, these two syllables, Hari. Baddha parikarastena, they have done parikar bandha. Previously, when people used to go for a long journey, people used to first tie a cloth around their waist before they used to begin a long journey. Nowadays, the Western equivalent is to roll their sleeves, he has rolled up his sleeves. This is the equivalent of Baddha Parikara. He has rolled up his sleeves, Mokshaya Gamanam Prati, to walk on the long path of liberation. What is the meaning? The meaning is that, let's say, you have to walk a long distance. Let's say you have to walk from New York all the way up to, let's say, Alachua. It's a very big distance. And if you walk that distance from New York to Alachua by foot, it will take you a long time. So you rolled up your sleeves. And let's say you started walking. You went out of your home and you started walking. And you're just on the street outside. You have just started. And somebody comes and asks, where is Kapil Prabhu? And then your family will say, well, he went to Alachua. Are you right now in Alachua, Prabhu, or are you right now in New York? Where are you right now? So the answer to that question is that you are right now in New York. You're just across the corner of the street. But while saying it is said that you went to Alachua, which means that you are on the proper path. Sooner or later you will reach. Similarly, when it is said that Harinam destroys all sins, which means that the process of the destruction of those sins has begun. You are on the proper path. In due course of time, it will definitely happen. So that is the indication given by Shastra. So I hope that resolves your query? Yes, Prabhu. Please let me know if that is sufficient.
Yes, Prabhu, yes. I was not able to unmute myself, but yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just on this one, I just want to share one thing.
Yeah.
Baddha parikara stena. You had shared this verse with your audience and with me many years ago, and it stayed in my mind. And very recently, I was having a discussion on this topic with a very learned person, and he knows Sanskrit also quite a bit, not probably as much as yourself. So on this topic of Nama, I was having a discussion, and I quoted this verse and saying, and I said that I have, you have explained it so many times, and all that. So we were parsing the verse, and that person whom I respect very much was, and I could, was so, we went through the Sanskrit dictionary and saw the initial meanings that come up for parikara are like associate or parshads. So baddha parikara stena, kind of that meaning is a little bit glossed over. And previous acharyas have also quoted this verse, and English translations don't bring out that. When we went down the dictionary, parikara means a belt or a waist cloth. And baddha parikara instantly, and I could see the sort of the light in that other devotee's eyes. Wow. And that just completely clarifies or brings out that whole scene or that mood or the meaning of this verse so much in context that all you have done is just tied your waistcloth and have begun to go on the path. But you had to go down and understand that contextual meaning of parikar, which you brought out many years ago. And I feel so grateful that how you, I don't know where else or who else has ever given that clear explanation of this verse, which brings out the main essence of the verse, the main point of this verse, other than you. So I'm so grateful to you to clearly say this and put it in the right context, bring out the right meaning of the word in context of the verse. It's just I'm just so grateful, and I'm just floored. Thank you, Prabhu, for giving us this wonderful, deep understanding.
Yeah, I'm very thankful, Prabhu, that kindly shared this memory. There's a direct word also, parikar bandha. I'll share my screen. You can see directly what is the meaning of parikar bandha. Can you read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. The binding on of a girdle in order to begin any work.
Yeah, that's parikar bandha. So that's what it is. Baddha parikarastena mokshaya gamanam. That's parikar bandha. So that's it's the meaning is very contextual, and of course in the language which my mother tongue is Marathi. Then Marathi is very close to Sanskrit in many ways. In Marathi there is a similar word parkar. Parkar means the skirt which ladies tie around their waist. That is it's derived from the Sanskrit term parikar bandha. So the girdle basically. So it's, yeah, some advantage of speaking certain languages. That's all.
And even this example that you showed, parikara bandha, the verse says baddha parikara. First of all, it's reversed, and it's not bandha, it's baddha. I just cannot imagine how one would even get and that meaning that you showed is very clear, but to get to that word, to be able to get to that meaning is also very hard from simply the verse, which says it in the reverse order, baddha parikara, and plus it's not bandha and it's baddha. Thank you for this is why without a teacher, it's not possible. We think we have the internet and the dictionaries and we can figure it out. But you need to know what to look for. And that can only be told by the teacher.
Very grateful to have like-minded audience.
Adhokshaj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept our respectful obeisances. So nice to see you back home. So, Prabhuji, we have a couple of questions. So first I'll ask, this question is in maybe continuation to Vamshidhari Prabhu's question, and you have already answered it in detail. But still, I think a little bit more clarification I would seek on this. That the secondary results which are mentioned, the incidental results for doing Nitya Karma, and sometimes preachers use it as a bait, as you mentioned, like for 1 year he chanted and then he never chanted in his life, but there is an impression created which will help him in next life.
Yes.
But we also see that our acharyas, Prabhupada and other acharyas, I mean, if I have understood their lives and preaching life, especially preaching aspect, they have never used, if I'm not wrong, they have never used this secondary result or this method of bringing people in, because when you have so many people who have come to you for because of the secondary result, there is also a hassle for the preacher to filter them out later. They will themselves go away sooner or later, but still there is a big load of maintaining such people who are not there for pure bhakti. And in that, the people who are actually there for advancing in pure bhakti, they get compromised. And I have experience of this, I mean, a lot of experience of that in the last 10 years. So some preachers are of this mood that why not just present pure things? Even if Shastra is mentioning the secondary results, they will themselves come to know about this. When you present pure things, only pure people will come. Those who want pure results, only they'll get attracted. And you will be, you will not have this difficulty of filtering these people who are not there for bhakti. So,
Sure.
yeah.
So both aspects are, both types of personalities are there in Shastra. Personalities who attach something impure, and then personalities who don't want to compromise anything. They just want to speak what is pure. And Sri Vyasdev took the impure approach also first by composing 17 Puranas, which had the secondary results promised. And the result was that the author himself became disappointed at heart. Vyasadeva became disappointed at heart. We know this. And the reason why he became disappointed is not because he promised primary result. The reason why he became disappointed is because of promising secondary result. But a personality like Sri Vyasadeva has done that. And then Sri Narad Muni says, are you happy now by promising secondary result? I hope you are happy now. He, in a very sarcastic mood, like, are you happy by identifying with the body and the mind? So Vyasdev said, no, I'm not happy. Please tell me what to do. Maybe I have not glorified Bhagavan directly. That is why I am so dejected right now. And then Narad Muni says, it is a place of pilgrimage for the crows where Bhagavan is not glorified. That's what Narad Muni told me directly. So, but that same Narad Muni, he also on many occasions gave, did not always give the highest thing in the first time. You can see in the case of Dhruv Maharaj, he first told Dhruv Maharaj, why I'll come with you and tell Uttanpad, he will let you sit on his lap. If I say, he will definitely let you sit. So Narad Muni also was initially not in favor of giving the highest thing to Maharaj Dhruva. So it depends from sadhu to sadhu. Sometimes sadhus believe that people may enter with impure motivations, but later they may become pure. Whereas you believe that people may enter with incorrect motivations and will remain there as a burden. That is what your belief. So that is the actual point of contention. This point of contention is taken up in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's a very important thing. And this point of contention, it is taken up in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami says, Tatra Gitadishu Uktanam Chaturnam Adhikarinam. There is a very nice verse. There are 4 types of adhikaris for bhakti who are mentioned, and these 4 are Arto, Jigyasu, Artharthi, person who is distressed, person who wants wealth. Now please tell me, Adokshaj Krishna Prabhu, are these pure motivations or impure motivations?
Impure.
So, Sri Rupa Goswami says about these particular people in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.20. He says, Tatra Gītādishu Uktānām. Tatra Gītādishu Uktānām. They are mentioned in the Gita. Chaturnām Adhikarinām. 4 types of adhikaris. One who is distressed, one who wants money, etc. They are not, most of them are not very pure. Madhye Yasmin Bhagavatah Kṛpā Syat. But if there is some candidate amongst them upon whom Bhagavan has his mercy, Tat Priyasyava, or Bhagavan's devotee has his mercy, Sakshina Tat Tat Bhavaha Syat, then that particular impure person will start losing his impurity and become Shuddha Bhakti Adhikaravan and become eligible for the pure variety of bhakti. And then he gives example, Yatha Ibhaha. Ibha is elephant. For example, Gajendra. Gajendra's motivation was to protect his life. But, gradually he became purified at heart and then Bhagavan accepted him. Shaunakadischa, Dhruvacha, such a Chatusana. So he gives examples of all 4. Many of them may not have started with the purest of motivations. But Bhagavataha Kṛpā, Tat Priyasyava. Either Bhagavan's mercy or Bhagavan's devotee's mercy can make the impure into pure after a certain point of time. But, some people may agree with this logic, some may not agree. Some may say, well, most do not become pure. And some may say, well, they may become pure. So that's a topic of discussion, but at least Sri Rupa Goswami has opened a window where he says that there is a possibility of them becoming pure. So I hope that answers your query to some degree of sense.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So my understanding with this answer is that both type of preachers are, both type of sadhus are okay, but both should not contend with each other.
Yeah, because because previously, see, sadhus would not clash against each other. Hey, why are you not taking my approach in the institution? Or why are you not taking my? So sadhus did not previously belong to institutions. Previously, sadhus were individuals. And then they have no, not a single sadhu in the Bhagavatam doesn't belong to any institution. You can see all the sadhus in the Bhagavatam, they're not belonging to any of the institutions. So these types of conflicts are only there when you're trying to control a certain part of an institution, which the previous sadhus did not have this problem at all. Now a particular problem exists because we want to drive the institution in a certain direction. And that's where the contention appears. But if you see from a sadhu's point of view, there's actually no contention because, you want to take
They both have respect for each other.
Yeah, they both have respect. And you have your set of people to whom you are speaking, and that other sadhu may have other set of people to whom they are speaking. And they may take their approach. Finally, phalena parichiyate. Finally, both types of sadhus should lead to the goal of their followers attaining the stage of Uttama Bhakti. And if any sadhu fails in doing that, which means the sadhu did not guide their follower properly. So that is very important to understand, because even those sadhus who took that approach of giving that indirect medicine, their ultimate aim is to bring their followers to the path of Uttama. That they must ensure. Because Gurur na sasyat, one should not become a guru, if one does not give instructions to liberate his dependent. So that is the sum and substance of the entire matter.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Actually, we have more questions, but I think we will wait and come back.
Yeah, we'll do round robin. Come back.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, just I had the same question. Thank you, Adhokshaja Krishna Prabhu, to him for bringing this up. This concept of bridge preaching is kind of what he was mentioning. So what I had this question too, a very important one I was going to ask. So the takeaway is that as long as the ultimate, like you said, goal is to bring them to Krishna, both we should have mutual respect for each other, and each person who is trying to share or spread Krishna consciousness should adopt the approach that he is comfortable with or that his mood aligns with.
Yeah.
And even the Shastra, in some sense, by promising these incidental, secondary, material results, in that sense, we can say that it is also a kind of bridge preaching. So it is not something that is completely to be denounced or criticized.
Of course, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 1st chapter, 4th verse, very clearly mentioned that nivrittatarshai rupagiyamana bhava uchchadat shrotra mano virama ka uttama shloka gunanuvada puman virajyet vina pashugna. Glorification of Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the Parampara system. It's conveyed from spiritual master to disciple. Such glorification is relished by those who are no longer interested in the false temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. This is the highest class of people. But descriptions of the Lord are right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. So also for those who are not so pure, hearing Krishna Lila will also give them some pleasure which is similar to material pleasure, but they will be attracted to Krishna Lila. So all sorts of motivations are there. People with all sorts of motivations are there. And the Bhagavatam caters to all of them. But it's very important, as Bhagavad Gita says in the 17th chapter, verse number 15, Bhagavad Gita says that any statement, any authoritative statement should have certain characteristics. What are the characteristics? Anudvegakaram vakyam. Statement should not produce any agitation. And satyam, finally you should bring a person to the truth. Priya hitam, the person should be benefited. If there is no benefit, if you don't bring a person to the truth, then you have fed them a sweet lie. And the sweet lie is like sweet poison. You know, they don't get the actual truth. And why feed them sweet lies? Bitter truth is preferable over sweet lies. But if you can present the truth indirectly, sweetly, that is also very nice. That approach is also nice. Both approaches are good, provided the end result is attained. That a person, instead of becoming more materialistic, a person becomes a sadhu. And a person becomes a genuine sadhak, a genuine practitioner on the path. If that goal is attained, any method that you took is justified. I hope that clarifies.
Yadupati Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for amazing class. Because I just have this question, like in the last you quoted that Dharma Vratatyaga Kutadi Sarvashabhakriya Sami. So if you expect a worldly result out of chanting Harinam, then that is offense, as we know. Like I have question, generally in this context is like sometimes when a devotee is not feeling well, we generally think that we will chant some more rounds. So we are actually expecting that the devotee's health to be good, but also and like it is appearing like we are committing aparadh, but also if the devotee health is good, then he can serve Krishna better. Like our intentions also like this. So is it aparadh, Prabhu? How to understand this?
This sort of an understanding has come about recently. That we should, when a Vaishnava is ill, we should chant Hare Krishna so that he gets better. You usually don't see any such thing in Chaitanya Charitamrita or amongst the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Haridas Thakur was on his deathbed, on the final stages of his life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not saying, let's chant Hare Krishna so that Haridas Thakur recovers back to full health, so that he's able to serve Krishna nicely. That's not the approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking. There's a big difference between how the previous Vaishnavas used to conduct their attitude in this regard, and recently our attitude might have changed. So, the exact attitude is that we don't know what is favorable for a Vaishnava situation. For a Vaishnava, even a so-called negative situation or a so-called distressful situation may be very favorable for their bhajan. We don't know. There's a famous incident about Sri Haridas Thakur. And Sri Haridas Thakur went to the prison. And in the prison, there were many prisoners who were perhaps not going to get out in their lifetimes. And then they said to Sri Haridas Thakur, can you please pray for us so that we get out of this prison? And Sri Haridas Thakur said, I pray that you always stay inside this prison. Always stay. So they were a little, why are you? Because if you get out, perhaps you will become that same criminal again, which caused you to get inside the prison. At least here you will chant Harinam and not commit any nonsense. So I pray that you always stay within the prison. So this is many times the previous acharyas, they have shown such attitude. So what is favorable and what is unfavorable is not based on external material circumstances. Favorable and unfavorable is based on one's mindset. One may become more favorable towards Bhagavan in bad health. And sometimes in good health, one forgets Bhagavan. So tell me, by praying for them, for praying for their recovery, are we praying for favorability or unfavorability? So that is not the mood of the previous acharyas. That we should pray for somebody's good health so that they can perform their bhajan better. How do we know that their bhajan is worsening in bad health? We do not know. Bhajan is a state of mind. It is not always dependent on the external health of a person. So that is short and sweet, that is the answer.
Yeah, so like we are committing aparadha, so we will experience some negative if we do that.
We are not committing any aparadha, but if somebody organizes a big Mahamantra Anushtan, a big Mahamantra chanting program just for the improvement of Yadupati Prabhu's health. So this is not the purpose of Harinam. I'm sorry, this is not the purpose of Harinam. You organized a big program just so that somebody's health could improve. That is not the purpose of Harinam. And then you are using Harinam just as you use a Vedic ritualistic activity. Of course, that aparadha starts applying, isn't it? Now I have to speak what is the fact. So that aparadha starts applying at that point of time. So we have to be very careful that Harinam should not be used in such a way. If you are using Harinam in such a way, then might as well use Harinam in other ways also. Let's have a big Harinam chanting festival so that Yadupati Prabhu gets a good job in a multi-million-dollar company so that his bhajan will improve. Let's have a Harinam ceremony for Yadupati Prabhu so that he gets a good favorable spouse so that his bhajan will improve. So how far do you extend it, Yadupati Prabhu? Please tell me.
Yes. Yes.
Please pray for me so that I get a good spouse, so that my bhajan will improve. Please pray for me so that I get a favorable child, so that my bhajan will improve. Please pray for me so that I get a wonderful apartment so where I can stay, so that my bhajan will improve. So where does it stop? This is not the purpose of Harinam. The purpose of Harinam is Mukhyam Phalam Ratihi, Rupa Goswami said. That is the purpose of Harinam. So let us not use it for secondary purposes, because that leads to aparadha.
Thank you. Understood.
Thank you, Prabhu. Suradhyaksha Prabhu.
Suradhyaksha Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My pranams to you. Very happy to see you live on a class.
Likewise.
Feeling so very happy.
Likewise.
Prabhuji, I have a very small question and a very simple too. The kind of a lecture which you gave, in which we got a absolute very good clarity. Of course, we knew the goal which we have, the ultimate goal of to achieve the Rati of Lord Shri Krishna. But the process which we are following today, the Nitya Karma will give only the main results, the main fruit. Now, the activities which we are following on a day-to-day basis, like one of the main activity is chanting the holy name of Lord. Now, in that only we don't have a taste, nor we have a motivation. Now, my question is, Prabhu, now since we have a ultimate goal, the final goal which we have to achieve, are there any possibilities or are there anything mentioned in Shastras which will give us a smaller goals to achieve that final goal, which will be like analyzing our progress, and that will help us to motivate and create some kind of a taste for the Harinam also, Prabhuji.
Oh,
So this
wonderful.
is the simple question.
Yeah, because just chant Harinam and get prema, that seems a long distance. Are there smaller milestones on the way? That's your query.
Yes, yes.
Of course, there are. Adav Shraddha, Tataha Sadhu Sangha, Tatha Bhajan Kriya, Tataha Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, and then Prema. So many milestones are there on the way. On the way, you will see your progress if, and that's a big if you follow every milestone properly. If Shraddha is proper, Sadhu Sangha is proper. So Sadhu Sangha is proper, Bhajan Kriya is proper. Bhajan Kriya is properly done, Anartha Nivritti happens. Anartha Nivritti is properly done, then comes Nishtha, Ruchi. All the stages will come. If you make a mistake in any one of the stages due to lack of guidance, due to misunderstanding something, then you may not be able to progress so swiftly. It's very important to understand each and every stage and how it works. And it's important to understand it from a person who has understood all the stages properly, with absolutely no doubt in their mind about as to how the process works. Because as long as you don't have clarity, you will not be able to progress confidently. There are many intermediate milestones on the way that have been given by the previous acharyas. And you will notice those intermediate milestones. At a certain point of time, you will notice Anartha Nivritti has happened. My goodness, I don't feel attracted to material. I don't feel attracted to material attachments. My good, now I attained it. Oh, that's it. This is it. This is what I was waiting for. Bhakti finally showed its result. I have no attachment. Oh wow, wonderful. That is, you will feel that in your personal life. But if it is done properly, if it is not done properly, uh, somebody should pluck out the thorn of material attachment from within our heart. How will the sadhu pluck it out? You need that specific thorn to be plucked out from your heart. And then you need a specific sadhu to give you a specific instruction, to give you specific understanding, so that the thorn will be plucked out from your heart. And then you will be able to move ahead swiftly. And then once you have that proper guidance, you will go through all the milestones effortlessly. That it will not be a big problem.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your elaborate answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice question and wonderful answer. Helped me as well, Prabhuji, very much. Sudevi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, my humble pranams. Prabhuji, you have already answered my question partially, but from the point of view of a sadhaka, if his main aim is pure devotional service, but at the same time, if he is troubled by some material problems, but he knows that he should not chant to get rid of these problems. So what is he supposed to do? Should he just tolerate the problems, or can he do some prayers, or what is the way to get out of this problem?
The proper way is to adjust one's attitude by consulting a sadhu. Often we are not able to see the solutions of our problems. Problems give us distress. Mataji, distress and happiness are fundamentally one and the same. Do you believe my statement when I say this, that distress and happiness are fundamentally one and the same?
I didn't get it fully.
So I'll explain. Happiness looks good when it is arriving in our lives. It gives us distress when it is departing from our lives. Distress gives pain when arriving in our life and gives happiness when it is departing from our life. Please tell me, isn't it true?
Yes, Prabhuji. That's
So,
true.
if you see from this point of view, distress is also a source of happiness. It gives happiness when it is going away. And happiness is also a source of distress. It gives distress when happiness is going away. Isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And this is the same thing that Krishna has said in the Gita. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga tukhayonaya evate. I will quote that verse. This is 5.22 of Gita. Krishna directly says, it is very simple. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga tukhayonaya evate. Adyantavanta kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. Literal translation is, Yehi, all those which are bhogas, which externally seem like enjoyment, born out of contact with the senses, are actually dukkha yonaya, are actually sources of misery. But how is it misery? How can enjoyment be misery? Enjoyment is misery when it gets over. That is when enjoyment is misery.
Yes.
So ultimately, enjoyment and misery are two sides of the same coin. Nateshu ramate buddha. If you are intelligent, you will not fall into the trap. You will not fall into the trap. What is the difference? So, it's very important to understand that the solution for miseries or difficulties is not to, do some ritual. The solution to miseries is to understand how to look at these miseries from the point of view that has been shown by Bhagavan so many times in the Bhagavad Gita. So many times. It's such a basic thing, yet it is very profound. How to deal with miseries in life. When miseries come, Mataji, they seem very difficult. But when miseries depart from our lives, they give us the wonderful gift of maturity. They make us more mature than any other person around us. Mataji, no person becomes mature in happiness. A person only becomes mature in distress. Much of the maturity in our lives was attained when we went through distress, not when we went through happiness. So please tell me, Mataji, would you like to be more mature in your bhakti and in general in your life? Yes or no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
But maturity is attained only by going through distress, not by going through happiness.
Yes.
Are you prepared to take distress in order to attain maturity?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Wonderful. Tattenukampam susamikshamaano Punjana evatma kritam vipakam Hridvagvapurvirvidadhan namaste Jivet yo mukti pade sadaya bhag. A devotee considers all distress to be the mercy of Bhagavan. Here comes my opportunity to become a sadhu. Now is the opportunity for me to become a sadhu. All of that philosophy that was written in the books, now is the time for me to practice it in real life. Now is the opportunity for me to practice it. Now is my test of being a sadhu. Am I a sadhu or not? Bhagavan has given me a good practice ground. And at that point of time, the person gets a test. And in that test, if one can become a sadhu, that person is a sadhu. A person who can become a sadhu in their personal private life when nobody is watching, that person is a sadhu. Anybody can pretend to be a sadhu in front of a camera, isn't it? It's so easy. But a genuine sadhu is one who is a sadhu when the cameras are switched off and when nobody is watching. That is a sadhu. And that so many situations Bhagavan will give in our life. That is Bhagavan's mercy. Mataji, if Bhagavan would not give such situations, how would we get the opportunity to become a genuine sadhu? Please tell me. If all the situations were happy situations, where is the opportunity to become a sadhu? Mataji, does a person's sadhuness is tested in good times or bad times?
Bad times.
So Bhagavan is giving you so many opportunities. Why don't you take them?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Attitude adjustment is needed. Attitude adjustment. Everybody will face difficulties, but it is glorious to face difficulties like a sadhu. That is, there is class, there is character in facing difficulties like a sadhu. Everybody will go through them, and everybody will go through different set of difficulties. But let's go through them like a sadhu, like a sadhaka, like a genuine practitioner. Let's not try to avoid them. Let's not try to avoid them. Because miseries are nothing but happiness. And happiness is nothing but misery. Misery is happiness when it goes away. And happiness is misery when it goes away. Let's try to see it in that way. And let's try to live through it like a sadhu. I hope that clarifies.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Wonderful answer. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, can we also like think in the same lines that if Bhagavan you desire, then and if you think it will be good for my bhakti, then kindly remove the misery.
No, Bhagavan already knows what is good for my bhakti. Why else would Bhagavan send? Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bhagavan, I take shelter of you.
But that is for a very advanced devotee. But there are aparadhs that one does, like one who is a devotee, then according to the commentary on 1.1.11 of Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Uttama Anyabhilashta, that Bhagavan personally takes charge of the devotee's karma. He is no longer bound by the because of karma, but then Bhagavan for the aparadh, so the aparadh is atma kritam vipakam.
Yeah.
So it's my doing.
Yeah.
So one tolerates that and treats it as Bhagavan's anukampa.
Yeah.
And
Bhagavan, let it stay for as long as you want.
And we can pray to Bhagavan to remove those aparadhs.
Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah, Bhagavan, please
So
purify.
that
Please purify my heart from the aparadhs. While the misery is there, let me learn the underlying lesson that the misery is trying to teach me. Let me try to learn the underlying lesson that, because let the misery not go away without teaching that appropriate lesson. That is very much important. A misery is wasted if it goes away without teaching a lesson. So we should not waste a misery. It's a very important gift, isn't it? We should not waste a misery by refusing to learn the lesson. The lesson is learned when we understand why the misery came in our lives. For example, in the Smritis it is said, Ati Bhojanam, one should not eat too much. It reduces your life, it causes misery to you. Let's say somebody in the middle of the night takes a big tub of ice cream and eats an entire tub of ice cream. And now his entire stomach is swollen, like it's bloated. And with that distress, he or she sleeps. Now, the entire night they're not able to sleep properly. Now that misery teaches them something. Next time, I will not eat a tub of ice cream in the middle of the night. Right? If the misery was able to teach that lesson, then the misery was worth it. But if a person, again after a few months, eats a tub of ice cream in the middle of the night, then another misery is waiting to teach another lesson. Because time is a very good teacher. At least in the second time, he or she should learn. So this is very important to understand. Either learn directly from Shastra, you don't have to go through a misery, or at least learn from a misery. But We should pray to Bhagavan. Bhagavan, let the misery have its effect in the form of giving maturity to me, so that I don't repeat this. So,
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful. Before we go to seconds, we'll go to Krishna Das Patra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Accept my pranams, Prabhuji.
my pronouns. Yeah.
Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes. Prabhuji,
You're cutting out badly, Prabhuji.
characteristics of pure devotional service like kleshagni, and that it is must that one who is executing the devotional service, any limb of devotional service, he must get rid of this miseries and he will get the auspiciousness.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. I think the question has something to do with kleshagni. Hare Krishna.
We'll come back to Krishna Das Prabhu again.
Sure.
Prabhuji, I had a different question. May I ask?
Sure.
Why not? Like very nicely, you gave the whole scientific explanation of the aparadh to consider the holy names as some ritualistic activities, and how that leads to wrong expectations, and then ultimately ending up, in some cases, people could end up leaving the path of bhakti.
Yeah.
So that was wonderful. In similarly, one of the number one Vaishnava aparadh is satam ninda.
Yeah.
Is to do ninda or criticism of devotees.
Yeah.
Could you? I'm not asking for a whole class on it, but
of course.
But
we will. I'll definitely try to cover it in a separate session.
But how does that aparadh, that particular naam aparadh, could potentially lead to not attaining or a barrier in attaining? If you could give some scientific or some sort of little bit more enlightenment. I mean, it's fairly straightforward and obvious, and we should never do it. But I'm just looking for your embellishment and little bit expansion on how potentially it hampers our bhakti.
It's a very simple thing. Why do people critique others, or why do people speak ill against other sadhus? If we look into it, people critique others publicly so that their faults are exposed. And when their faults are exposed, people will come to know the true character of this person. And when they come to know the true character of this person, then they will realize that this person is not such a sadhu. In turn, they will realize that I am a much better sadhu instead of this person. At least they will indirectly understand this right. So it is done mainly for these purposes. Public criticism often, because actually, if somebody wants to actually improve somebody's nature, or if somebody wants to reform somebody, they can privately approach them, speak to them, or they can approach their guru privately. But out of all of these techniques, a person selects public criticism. The reason being to publicly expose the faults of another person. And that obviously is due to some insecurity within somebody's heart. And this person is, becoming a very prominent sadhu. It is important to expose his or her faults. And then a person exposes their faults. And that shows one's own insecurity in many ways. In simple Bhagavad Gita terms, there is rag and dvesh. Rag is to have attachment for something, dvesh is to have repulsion. And this is a classic example of dvesh. We have repulsion towards somebody else. And this rag and dvesh, as long as they are present, how can a person expect anything auspicious for oneself? One should not expect auspiciousness for oneself as long as one is within the cycle of rag and dvesh. But a very detailed explanation will come up as to why a person, critiques somebody, and how can we remove this particular fault of satam ninda from within our hearts. We have to become a genuine sadhu, a genuine sadhaka. And becoming a genuine sadhaka is basically a process of training one's mind to be simple-hearted, to be straightforward, to be truthful, and to not be envious. Very simple. It's not very difficult. But often people are not able to do it for various reasons. But those who have sincerity in their hearts, those who wish to become a genuine sadhak, they will definitely be able to take help and guidance from the Shastras, from the previous acharyas. But in detail, I will explain, because durdaivam īdṛśam, my misfortune is such, Mahaprabhu says, and there's a big explanation to that. Today we only covered one of the aparats. Obviously, we have to cover other aparats also, isn't it? Because all of these aparats are my durdaiva, my misfortune that I could not attain anurag, genuine attachment towards Bhagavan's name. So when Upadeshamritam was done, we did the 10 aparats from the point of view of the commentary of Sri Sanatana Goswami. Here also we will do the 10 aparats, but we'll take a different take altogether. Like today we took a different take on them. So we take a different take for all the aparats. We'll see. No? Here, this time it will be a more from one's personal application point of view. So that it is helpful for the sadhakas. Because Harinam is a sadhan. So we should speak something which is relevant for the sadhakas. But I don't want to give out all the details immediately, because there should be some newness in every talk. So let that newness stay for another talk.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. But just to, I didn't state my question properly. And for the future talk, maybe you could consider including this to answer. It's not about I know in the Upadeshamrita talks you have focused, and right now also your main explanation was about the public or even spoken ninda. But what about the ninda that one goes on in just in one's mind? So it's never spoken, it never leaves the lips or the tongue. And even that, I would like to get clarification or explanation from you. It is definitely harmful. I feel I can experience it in my life that it is harmful. And to what extent and how to eliminate and all. And yes, the feeling of simplicity and dependence on Bhagavan, all that is very wonderful. So just to keep potentially to address that question in your future talk would be useful for me.
Sure. When we see a fault in another person, we should try to, at least the thought should come in our mind. This fault in this person, is it sat, permanent, or asat, temporary? Please tell me.
It is definitely temporary in almost in every single case, yes.
The body and the mind of that person is sat or asat?
Asat.
And the body and mind are asat. And the faults arising from the body and mind are sat or asat?
Asat.
Na sato vidyate bhava, na bhavo vidyate sata. What is asat will not persist. And what will persist will never cease to be. A basic statement in the Gita. Why am I spending my time over asat? What will I get by spending my time over asat? This person will one day come out of it. Obviously, by influence of time, by talks of their gurus, by teachings of their gurus, by teachings of Shastra. What am I getting by focusing on his asat? What am I getting?
Hampering my bhakti.
Of course, I'm wasting my time. I could have spent that time learning sat. There is so much sat to learn. Eternal truths in the Shastra. I could have spent my time in that. But instead I focused on asat. And na sato vidyate bhava. Gita says, what is temporary will not persist. And so I spent my time meditating on asat. In fact, I should have spent my time on sat. I could have spent that time learning the 3 types of karma. Sanchit karma, prarabdha karma, kriyaman karma. I could have spent my time learning a new concept from Shastra, which would have really helped me. Tomorrow this person's asat fault is going to go away. And this time I wasted. So why am I doing this? Why am I being so unkind to my own self? Isn't it? I am not gifted with unlimited time. Isn't it? But that's what I like to do. Asatvarta. So we'll discuss that also. And also we'll discuss how to deal with situations when somebody else critiques you. How to deal with situations when somebody else puts you in that position. Oh, that is a wonderful place to be. That is a wonderful place to go. People say that, hey, don't go and associate with this person. Oh, wow, that is one of the best gifts to receive. That is one of the best things to have. It's a star on the shoulder. It's one of the best things to have, because we'll see that wonderful song from Dāsa when we come to that. Oh, what a wonderful word. What a wonderful way to deal with it. But all of that is coming up.
Yes, Prabhuji. I still remember that you had shown that song. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Wonderful.
Yeah.
We'll continue.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Shyam Mukund Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for pranams. Thank you for such a wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhuji, I have posted my question in the chat box.
Okay.
Just a request, can it be taken from there?
Sure. Prabhu, can you please take up his query?
Yes, Prabhuji, I was going to say there are several queries on the chat. Some of them are really long. I didn't get chance to fully kind of comprehend them.
Yeah.
So I'll go to Shyam Mukund Prabhu's question.
Sure.
And I'll just read it out. I haven't had time to comprehend it and summarize.
Sure.
What if, with initial greetings, then what if those who are not yet devotees take bath in river like Mother Ganga and Yamuna? So will it not give agyat sukriti for them? When sadhakas take bath before chanting and deity worship, so taking bath is aropa siddha, sanga siddha or swarup siddha bhakti for sadhakas. Question.
So are there two questions? Like, if sadhakas take bath in Ganga?
Yeah, kind of two paragraphs. So first question seems to be like, will it not give agyata sukriti? So I think the focus is that, will it give agyata sukriti? And the second question is about which category, aropa siddha, sanga siddha or swarup siddha it falls in.
When somebody takes bath in Ganga, if they are a sadhak means they are dedicated to their process. What is the mindset with which they take bath in the Ganga? Actually, it is one of the 64 limbs of bhakti mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Nivase dvarakadau cha Ganga derapi sannidhau. Isn't it one of the 64 limbs of bhakti mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? I will point out from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, direct proof, 1-75, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I am sharing my screen. This is Sadharma Priksha. This is one limb, asking relevant questions of dharma. Bhogadi tyagaha Krishnasya hetave, giving up bhoga for Krishna's pleasure. Nivaso dvarakadau cha Gangaderapi sannidhau. And then to stay on the banks of Ganga, etc. in holy places. Now, what is the purpose of staying on the banks of Ganga? To collect agyat sukriti or to increase one's rati for Krishna? Please tell me, Parama.
The main goal, mukhya phalam ratihi.
Yeah, that is why it is included as one of the 64 limbs of bhakti. So that is the answer. For a sadhaka, one stays on the banks of Ganga so that it is one of the 64 limbs of bhakti. That's all.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, and then, I think that answers both the questions. Next, we will go to, so we'll take up the devotees who have their hands raised, and then we'll come back to the chat questions. Hold on. So we'll try to go back to Krishna Das Patra Prabhu again.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, my question is like, there are different characteristics of pure devotional service, like Kleshagni and Shubhada.
Yeah.
So, if any devotee who is trying to practice the pure devotional service or any limb of bhakti, So isn't it that although bhakti is a nitya karma, he will definitely get rid of the miseries and auspiciousness will come into his life.
Sure. But the miseries that bhakti rids you is the miseries caused by prarabdha and aprarabdha karma. But even after you rid yourself of those miseries, some miseries may come because Bhagavan himself may give. How do you rid yourself of that misery? That you cannot rid yourself of, because those miseries are given by Bhagavan himself. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in commentary to Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, says very clearly, Dukkham tu Bhagavad Dattam, says very clearly, where is it? He says, Hari Bhakti Mahadevya Chetikavat Anudruta. Yes, here it is. I am sharing my screen. He says, Atha atra bhaktanam prarabdha samanya nashyapi. Although prarabdha karma also in general is destroyed for the devotees, yet sukha dukkham drishyate, still some happiness and misery will be seen. Tatra tu sukham bhakteranusangikam phalam. Material happiness is a incidental result of performing bhakti, side effect of performing bhakti. And then he gives a praman for that. But we are more interested in dukkham here. Dukkham tu kutrachit bhagavad dattam. Sometimes even a devotee will see some misery, although karma is exhausted. And why does that misery come? Bhagavad dattam. Sometimes Bhagavan gives misery, because miseries are the perfect practice ground for a sadhu. Why we don't realize this fact? Miseries are the perfect practice ground for a sadhu. A person only improves in misery when they come across miseries. A person doesn't mature in happiness. Miseries are a gift for a sadhu. Take them and learn something. Learn something from the misery. That is the best way to advance on the path of bhakti. So it's so nice. Some of these miseries come. We go through so many challenges in lives. Some of us face difficulties with children. The children are not cooperative at all. Some of us face miseries from spouses. The spouses do not cooperate at all. Some of us face miseries from parents. The parents give us such a difficult time. Some of us face miseries from the other devotees. The devotees and temple is giving me such a difficult time. My goodness, what do? Everybody has their own share of miseries. But in all those miseries, it is possible to live like a sadhu. It is possible to live like a sadhu. And one who learns how to live like a sadhu amongst miseries, that person is a genuine sadhu. Genuine sadhu. And when they speak from the platform, they have spoken after practical experience of living like a sadhu amongst miseries. And their words have effect, because they have lived that life. And it comes from a practical realization of how to live through miseries. And then when they speak, their words have that effect. And wouldn't you like to be such a sadhu, Prabhu? Please tell me.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So Bhagavan should send miseries, isn't it?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Should Bhagavan send miseries, yes or no?
Yes, Prabhuji.
See, you said yes, Bhagavan is listening. So if Bhagavan sends a misery tomorrow, please be prepared. I will live through this like a sadhu. Okay?
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay.
Thank you. Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We'll go back to Adhokshaj Prabhu, Adhokshaj Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, so before asking a question, I would just please clear my whether I have understood it properly. Like when the incidental results of nitya karma, which are worldly, and though the definition says they do not offer any worldly results, but incidentally, if they come, they do contradict the definition. So we have to understand it like this, that when incidental result comes, it will definitely come with the main result. Main result will always come. And if a person gets incidental result, it is coming with the main result, which is self-purification. So he will continue on that path and gradually become more purified. And then that future, in later when that incidental result doesn't come, he will still continue.
Yeah.
And when,
Yes.
yeah.
Please continue. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was my understanding. And if it does not come and if he leaves, then that was already covered in that previous discussion.
Yeah. So incidental results are basically secondary results. Secondary results don't define the process. The process is defined by the primary results. Primary result is that which is certainly happening. Certainly it is happening. You're progressing in the direction of Rati. Secondary may come, may not come. When there is no guarantee that it may come, how can you call it a confirmed result? That is what an incidental result. On certain incident it comes, on certain incident it doesn't come. That is why it is called an incidental result. So, if there is no guarantee that it will come, can you call it a confirmed result? Please tell me.
No.
So, what is the confirmed result of Nitya Karma of Bhakti?
Self-purification.
That is for Vedic Karma. For Bhakti Karma, what is the main result? Rati. Attachment. For Vedic Karma, the Mukhya Phal is purification. Wonderful. Shri Madhusudan Saraswati specified. And very nicely he specified. Main result is purification of the self. And for Bhakti Karma, main result is Rati, attachment to Krishna. Main result is definitely coming. Don't worry. That main result is incidental, may come, may not come. So since there is no guarantee, consider it as not being a part. If it comes, well and good. It doesn't come, don't expect it. That's what it is.
So, Prabhuji, can I ask the question?
We'll go to Krishnamai Mataji.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I'm very happy. Krishnamai Mataji is a disciple of, yeah, there is. Oh, Prabhu and Mataji, they are disciples of Shri Bhakti Vibhut Bodhayan Maharaj from our family of Gaudiya Math. I'm very happy to have Prabhu and Mataji here. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Prabhu, your name?
Nimai Sundar.
Nimai Sundar.
I met you when you were in Mayapur in France.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Yeah.
I'm so grateful to be here, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Prabhu, thank you so much for this. Now somehow I get the understanding that the suffering is actually a gift on the path. But the thing is, I see now there is a devotee here who has cancer, and always I'm trying to help her on this difficult moment and to not accuse Krishna and all these things. And sometimes she gets these sparks of realization that, yes, this is so beneficial for me. But then the suffering gets such that she can not sleep at all at night. It burns, her skin burns so much that she cannot even remember Krishna. She cannot even go out of it. And as soon as there is a glimpse that it will get better, it goes down again and it suffer. And it looks like there is no way out. And so how to understand this, how to help, and yeah.
In every devotee's life, there is a very unique challenge, and in this particular devotee's life, there is this unique challenge that the intensity of suffering is very high. Every human body has a threshold of suffering beyond which the body becomes unconscious or goes comatose. And this human body also, this devotee's body also, has a certain threshold of suffering. And perhaps the thresholds of suffering are being reached, frequently in the case of this devotee, thereby giving the devotee an opportunity that most devotees do not get. An opportunity to see whether remembrance of Krishna is possible even in the midst of great amount of physical suffering. Maybe on one particular day, this devotee is not able to remember. But this devotee can always make the resolve that when it happens next time, I will try my best to remember. And maybe it doesn't happen the next time. And the devotee can make a resolve again. I know it is going to happen another time. And that is the gift. The gift is that the devotee knows that I will get another chance of going through that same experience. And maybe in this next chance, I will now try to remember Bhagavan at least once favorite. And that, if they are able to do that after a certain, most devotees won't get multiple chances. Most devotees won't get them. Me or you may not get multiple chances. It may be just one suffering on the body and that's the end. But this devotee is getting multiple chances to go through that same experience so that they have a better chance of practicing remembrance in physical suffering. Of course, the physical suffering is not going to last forever. The body one day is going to give itself up. But before it gives itself up, this particular sadhaka has an opportunity to try multiple times to remember Krishna in a very unfavorable situation. And if they can take it favorably and remember Bhagavan even in this difficult situation, perhaps they'll come very close to favorably remembering Bhagavan at that final crucial moment when they most need it. So, when this devotee is not suffering, or when the physical suffering is not so intense, perhaps if they spend a lot of time in intense remembrances of Bhagavan, intense meditations on Bhagavan, perhaps some of that will stay even during times of intense suffering. So that is how it can be seen. So every wave is favorable, and this wave of suffering can also be turned into something favorable. Although easier said than done, because this devotee is the one who knows what that suffering is like. But the more intense the suffering, the greater the possibility of becoming more mature and trying to remember Bhagavan in a very mature way, even amidst such a suffering. So that is the takeaway that can be had from this particular situation.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So beautiful. And what about amnesia, Prabhu?
Amnesia?
Yeah.
That a person is not starts forgetting things?
Yeah.
Like when a person starts forgetting things at that particular point of time, it is very important. See, a person never completely forgets everything. A person only forgets certain details of their life which are not the most important details. Some of the most important details are always there in the memory. When a person is developing amnesia, what they can do is they can definitely try to create new samskaras of remembrance of Bhagavan that strongly become lodged in their memory, that will stay till the end of their lives. Because the strongest, deeply rooted samskars don't go away, usually. So as soon as amnesia begins to take its grip over a sadhaka should, even before amnesia, a sadhaka should practice 24-hour remembrance of Bhagavan. But even at the faintest hint of amnesia taking over, a sadhak should double down on their efforts of 24-hour remembrance of Bhagavan. And then, finally, Bhagavan will decide whether at the moment of death, one of that remembrance will come back or not. We are not worried about taking another birth in the world. What we are worried about is that we should have prema. We should have love of Bhagavan before we leave this world. Rest is Bhagavan's headache. So that is what I would be worried about. If I would be, affected by amnesia, do I at least have some affection, some prema towards Bhagavan before I leave this body? And then the rest Bhagavan can take care of. Right?
Thank you so much. Dhanyavad pranams.
We'll take one from the chat and then come back to Adhokshaji Krishna Prabhu. So one devotee is asking that can someone please share the past classes. So I would just want to say that Prabhuji has a YouTube channel. And if you go to YouTube, you will find the channel, type the name Hari Pārṣad Dāsa, just like how it is spelled in the Zoom call right now. And you will find all of Prabhuji's classes there. And especially I feel that the 64-part series on Upadeshamrit, if you go to the playlists tab in YouTube within Prabhuji's channel, you'll find the listing of all the 64 classes in sequence. And in those 64 classes, I feel Prabhuji has poured out his heart. So one can definitely start from listening to the Upadeshamrit series, and also in parallel potentially listen to the Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam series, which is ongoing right now. Today is the 25th class. So slowly, gradually, one can catch up and come to the point where we are in the Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam today. And there are many, many other classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and many other topics of a lot of importance for devotees that one can pick and choose from Prabhuji's channel. So Prabhuji's channel is the central place for all of Prabhuji's classes, as far as I know. Prabhuji, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I don't have any hidden sources of classes. That's the only source.
All right. Adhokshaj Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, this question is related to the prayer you have offered in the beginning of the class, this ekātmani dvivavasthāyam. So, I was going through the translation, and my curiosity is that who is this I here? Because the three bodies are also covered, gross, subtle, and causal, and soul is covered, mind and five gross senses are covered. Is it the false ego, or?
No, I'll because that particular prayer, ekātmani dvivavasthāyam, so it is not referring to any three in the one soul, that is me. Actually, I am Jivatma, basically, But
yeah,
in the conditioned state, I have two states of the body, living and dead. And in the conditioned states, I have three bodies, gross, subtle, and causal. In the conditioned states, there are 4 levels of speech. In all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, let there be complete permeation or complete absorption of the 8 delightful verses of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam, which means that within myself, that is the Atma, let the verses of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam be fully within me, within myself. Or even within my 2 states of existence, whether I am living or whether I am dead, let the Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam verses be there. Or whether, in the 3 bodies that I have, gross, subtle, and causal, let these 3 bodies be completely permeated with the teachings of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam. In the 4 levels of speech that I am exhibiting, let these 4 levels of speech be completely permeated with the 8 verses of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam. In fact, in each and every element of my body, let there be permeation of the 8 verses of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam. So like that, it's not referring to I as the soul. It is also referring to I as in the conditioned state as the body. Because even within this conditioned body, there should be permeation of the Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam verses so that the body will also be purified finally. So that is the intention, right?
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just a small follow-up. So this, is there any class of yours or any article you can recommend to understand more on this causal body? Gross, subtle we hear, but this causal I have not heard much.
See, according to Vedanta, gross body is composed of your 5 elements. It is called as Sthul Sharir. Sukshma Sharir is also called as Linga Sharir. Sukshma Sharir is considered consisting of your mind, intelligence, false ego, your prana. They make up your Sukshma Sharir, or also known as Linga Sharir. Karan Sharir is the cause of the Sukshma Sharir and the Sthul Sharir. Karan Sharir is made purely out of avidya. It is that original Sharir which caused you to take Sukshma Sharir and Sthul Sharir. So Karan Sharir is the ultimate cause of your eternal existence in the material world till now. And that Karan Sharir is made out of avidya. So that is basically what Karan Sharir is. It is made mainly out of avidya or ignorance. So it's a negative body, you can say. It's an abhavatmak sharir. It is made out of avidya. So it's difficult to define that sharir because it is a negatively created body. Just like it is difficult to define a negative number. Similarly, that abhavatmak sharir, Karan sharir, is made out of avidya. Now, what does avidya consist of? It is by default, by its very definition, it is negative in sense. So that avidya is what is known as Karan sharir. Because avidya is at the root of you committing karma. And you committing karma is at the root of you taking a gross body. So that is what it is. And Sri Rupa Goswami also says that kleshastu papam tat bijam avidya chetite tridha. Miseries are actually three: pap, bij, and avidya. Ultimately, he also points to avidya as being the ultimate cause of existence in the material world. So that Karan Sharir, in Vedanta it is called as Sharir. Karan Sharir is made out of avidya. Right.
So, can I continue asking, or if there are other devotees to ask related to this only?
Sure.
Because
if it's related to this as a follow-up,
yes.
go ahead. Otherwise, I have a couple of questions on the chat, so we can alternate between you and the...
So I'll just ask this follow-up question, Prabhuji. So at the time of dissolution, like the complete dissolution, so we understand that even the subtle elements mix in the pradhana. So when the souls are in the body of Mahavishnu, are they still with avidya or the subtle?
Of course they are with avidya, because as long as avidya is there, their existence in the material world is there.
So can we say that we are eternally in avidya?
Of course,
Because
since beginningless time you are in avidya.
That is the understanding of beginningless anadi karma.
Of course.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So avidya is anadi, that was specified in the Bhagavatam itself, right? I had quoted that verse.
Yeah.
Anadi avidya yuktasya purushasya atma vedanam. Here it is in the 11th canto. Bhagavan himself says anadi avidya yuktasya. The purushasya, the purusha, the jivatma, is equipped with anadi avidya, beginningless avidya. That avidya causes anadi karma. That anadi karma causes anadi sharir, anadi beginningless bodies in the material world. That is what it is.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You can raise your hand if you have more questions, but there's a question, Prabhuji, from devotee named Vignesh Kamath Prabhu. It's a long question. I read it. It's a nice question, so I'll just read it. He has provided a lot of praman and then is asking the question. So, Prabhuji, please accept my humble pranams. Thank you for the class. One query. So you quoted a verse from Shri Brihad Bhagavatamrit, which mentioned that all the names of Bhagavan have samam or saman mahima. Nevertheless, we hear that among all the names, Krishna name is supreme. Nam mukhyamatam nama krishnakhyam me parantapa. Shri Rajiv Goswami in Krishna Sandarbha Anucheda 82 says this, and also provides reasoning that since Lord Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, the name of Krishna is superior to all other names. Further, we also find a verse in Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam that says that Ram Nam provides mukti, taraka, whereas Krishna Nam provides prema, paraka. Later, our acharyas also quote a verse from Padma Puran, which state that one Ram Nam is equal to 1000 names of Shri Vishnu, and another verse from Brahmanda Puran, which states that Shri Krishna Nam is equal to 3 times 1000, 3000 names of Shri Vishnu. So we conclude that one name of Krishna is equal to 3 names of Sri Ram. How to understand such statements which seem to indicate apparent taratmya in the name taratmya, sorry, hierarchy, yes, in the various names Krishna, Rama, Vishnu, etc. Does it establish intrinsic superiority from the point of Siddhanta? If yes, is it not offensive? Or should it be understood from the point of rasa, just like we understand the supremacy of Lord Krishna over Lord Narayana? Please help clarify this query. I think it's a very nicely written question.
So in the 23rd session of Śrī-Caitanya-Śikṣāṣṭakam was dedicated to this. The entire 23rd session, I'll share some of the slides. I will. Shri Radha Govindnath did a discussion of that in the 23rd session. We had discussed from here is the slide from the 23rd session. Different names give different results. Mukunda bestows liberation. Putanari vanquishes enemy. The name Krishna includes the result of uttering all these names. And then direct names are able to bestow all the results. And then he quoted Santu Avatara Bahavaha. There may be many auspicious incarnations, but who other than Krishna can bestow love of God even upon the creepers? So he gave a big example about that. So there was the entire thing. The direct name Krishna would also go in the Damodar, Madhav, Giridhari. So there was an entire discussion on that in the 23rd part, the 23rd session. Perhaps Vignesh Prabhu might not have seen the 23rd session. I would request that go and see it, that he can go through the Siddhantas that were discussed by Shri Radha Govindnath in that.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. So Prabhuji, just a little bit follow-up, and again, it's purely my fault of forgetting things. You had also mentioned about the significance of Shri Krishna Shakti Naam, like I am referring mainly to Shri Radha. Where does that, I think you had answered this, but if you could summarize that, I'd really appreciate.
What Shri Krishna Shakti Naam?
No, like the name of Shri Radha as sort of in the hierarchy or what it bestows.
The name of Shri Radha is the name of Bhagavan Shakti. In the discussion, there was a verse quoted from the Brahma Samhita commentary of Sri Jiva Goswami, that he who is Krishna is Durga, she who is Durga is Krishna himself. There is no difference between both. Sri Jiva Goswami says that names of Bhagavan Shakti are to be seen as non-different from names of Bhagavan. In that regard, there was an entire discussion that the names are in that sense. The names are to be seen as non-different from the names of Bhagavan. We can also independently chant the names of Shakti, but Sampradaya expects us to put Shakti and Shaktiman together. That is why the names of Shri Radha and Krishna are chanted together. Otherwise, Shri Radha's name also independently has potency. It's not that it doesn't have potency. But the Shishta Sampradaya expects us to put Shri Radha with Krishna even in Naam. What to speak of in person? Even in Naam, they should be put together. That is why even in Naam, they are put together. That's it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, there are a couple of more questions. I have not read this one. I heard in one devotee or couple Prabhu mentioning chanting Hare Krishna once can remove all sinful reactions from Chaitanya Charitamrita, but the answer was that though it happens over time, it's on the way to remove the Baddha Parikara or the direction of removing the sinful reactions. I don't see a question here, just that he's summarizing what you said.
Yeah. Maybe a confirmation of what was said.
Yeah. Okay. Then there's a question. Can you please recommend a Sanskrit dictionary to help with my Sanskrit studies? From Ishopanishad Dāsi.
Well, Sanskrit to English dictionary, Sanskrit to Sanskrit dictionary. Which dictionary? If it is Sanskrit to English dictionary, there are two Sanskrit to English dictionaries that are popular. One is Monier-Williams. This dictionary was made by an Indologist named Monier-Williams, but this dictionary may have some inaccuracies. A more accurate dictionary is Apte. Apte was a Sanskrit Vidwan, and Apte's dictionary has a better, more accurate translation of the terms. APTE, Apte. Right, so Apte was a Vidwan from the western part of India, from Maharashtra. He made his dictionary, Apte Sanskrit English Dictionary. So Apte's dictionary is the standard. I think Srila Prabhupada also spoke something about Apte's dictionary. Yes, he says something. Adi Lila. According to the great dictionary compiler Hemchandra. Hemchandra was a Jain. Right? He was from the Jain Sampradaya. Also known as Koshakar. Vedanta refers to the purports of Upanishads and Brahman portions of Vedas. Professor Apte in his dictionary defines this as the Brahman portion of Vedas. So here Prabhupada is quoting in Adi Lila 7.106. He's quoting Apte. Is there any other? Yeah. So Prabhupada used to refer to this Apte. And Prabhupada also used to refer to Monier-Williams. Yeah, Monier-Williams. So many times Prabhupada referred to Monier-Williams also. So Apte and Monier-Williams are two standard Sanskrit to English dictionaries. And then there are many other dictionaries. If you want to have a look at Sanskrit dictionaries online, the University of Cologne in Germany, they have made a website for that. I'm I'm sharing my screen so you can see. Here is IITS Cologne, Cologne Digital Sanskrit Dictionaries, and you can see here Sanskrit to English, Wilson, Yates, Goldstucker, Benfey, Monier-Williams, Landman, Vaidya, Apte. This is the one, Apte, and Tapeller, MacDonald, Monier-Williams. This is the second one, Shabdasagar, Practical Dictionary. So the main ones which will give you most of the things are Apte and Monier-Williams. These two are good. Other dictionaries will also give you other terms. And there are reverse English to Sanskrit. Apte also made an English to Sanskrit. So you give the English term, it gives you the Sanskrit term. And Monier-Williams also has that. And then there are Sanskrit to German dictionaries. And then there are Sanskrit to Latin, and there are Sanskrit to Sanskrit dictionaries. So these are some of these you can find on the University of Cologne website. And you can refer to these dictionaries.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And if you have a question, better to just speak it and raise your hand and speak. It's a little tricky to kind of deal with it in the chat. But if you can't speak or if you have connectivity issues, we are happy to take your questions from the chat. That's it, Prabhuji. That brings us, I think there are, yeah. I shall surely go through. Okay. Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. This brings us to the end of today's session, 3 hours. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is unprecedented and so very useful to all the Vaishnava devotees. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
I'm a shoe shiner. I'm very happy to shine the shoes of the Vaishnavas. Thank you so much for kindly giving me an opportunity. Otherwise, I wouldn't have good engagement, but the devotees kindly engage me in speaking. So I'm very grateful to everyone.
Let's all appreciate Prabhuji. You can unmute and share your gratitude for Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shriman Hari Pārṣad Prabhuji ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for
Thank you so
wonderful
much,
class.
Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Srila Prabhupada.
Dhanavad pranam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for wonderful class.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Ki jai.
Ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Jai. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji. We'll see you next week. I'll sign off. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.